against our opinions, and we're not your fathers.
Absolutely.
But we are their daddies.
Absolutely. Hey, guys. This is Anime Fathers here. Drew Philip Elias Aldo Mendez. This is episode 120.5. This is the season 4 finale recap, whatever you want to call it. The past, 2 years already? 2.5 years? Every time we've hit a 30 episode mark, Aldo forces me to sit down and discuss on my mistakes from the past 9 months.
I like to make you think about your mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one learns.
It's like a coach, you know what I mean? Like making you watch film and just like
don't be sorry, just be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you see how that play was shit?
Yeah.
Do better.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
And speak about doing better. New logo, you guys like? Huh?
Yeah.
You guys probably seen it around the social media if you are following us there.
Yep.
You know, which is Between Nerds at all tags at all social medias.
Yes.
You know, but if you want to get a little more personal, our email is betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. You can send us something there, you know.
I did want to just like give a big thank you real quick to Hector Gabriel Garcia. Like, he's my friend that I know from Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't seen a whole lot of him recently because he's been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. But before we started recording the last episode 120, Aldo was just like, we need to revamp all our logos. And I was like, God, I wish I knew somebody talented. And then I remembered Hector Gabriel. And so I texted him, and like immediately he's like, bro, I'm super slammed with work. Like, he's a full-time graphics artist. Like, honestly, like he's on staff for like a... For a production company, not even commissions. Like
really?
Like
shit!
Like he's on staff for a production company, and he was like, "Oh, I'm super swamped." I offered to pay him. I was like, "Bro, I'll pay you for your time. I know, like, I know doing your job for free is like that's not an easy ask for anybody." He's like, "Dude, don't even worry about it." Like, and he already had a sense of the podcast. He was telling me he loved our content, and he liked the Nerd Downs. He had a good idea for our vibe or whatever, and he just like threw something together like real quick, and I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. As you guys can see, we kept with our neon theme, because neon, I mean, is one way to describe
neon and cityscapes. Yeah. I don't know where this came from.
It's Japanese.
One day,
kawaii, or what do you say?
Kawaii.
Yeah, kawaii.
One day we're just gonna be in like in Shibuya and like in downtown Tokyo one day, and we're just gonna take a picture like that somehow.
We're gonna record an episode there.
In the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess we can just get started.
No,
okay, we're not getting started. What are we doing?
No, we're talking about Spotify. Spotify, we even haven't showed
Spotify
you love.
Wrapped?
We haven't even showed you any love. You showed us our Wrapped for 2022.
If any Spotify executives ever watch this, I want you to know that it's entirely Aldo's fault that we don't focus on Spotify. Aldo came to me with a realization during this season. It was during this period of time that we're going to discuss about that. He's right. Don't get me wrong. That the easiest way to monetize a podcast and stuff like that is on YouTube. So that's why, like, episodes 90 through 120, like, I'm looking at our YouTube playlist for season 4 right now. Like, the production quality varies a lot. Like, from episode 91, we're just recording in the dark, and then this, like, we've got lights, we've got new logos, we're trying to fill space and frame, all this stuff. And it's YouTube's easiest to monetize, so we kind of put audio only on the back burner for a while, even though that's what we mainly were doing for the past 2 years. But we had already secured like a core following on Spotify, so we were in the top 25% of podcasters on Spotify.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Out of subscriptions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're really good. I don't understand how like England and the Netherlands and Poland likes us, and so does Ukraine. I don't understand. We're like our number 3 country in terms of listeners is Ukraine. I don't know how that happened.
Hey, we showed some love to Ukraine.
I love Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like I didn't think like anybody would actually be listening to us from Ukraine.
And you know what? At the beginning of this podcast, we did try to make a local community out of the podcast, and we still are, but that is not our main point of focus right now.
Yeah.
But we did try to, you know, like get communities involved. The only one that actually like responded was a Humane Society.
The Humane Society of El Paso.
Yeah, they were very active with us and stuff. But we can get back to that whenever things kick off a little bit more. We can actually get the community involved. But to hear all these countries like listening to us, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I like what we do. I like what we do here, and just to see some growth in other countries is nice.
No, absolutely.
Nice.
And like Our audio quality has gone up a whole bunch this time. Like, like we were still recording off of one mic that was just hanging like off of a ledge, like in front of us. It's God, it's just been a lot.
I was telling you earlier to be in the 25%
On
Spotify makes me think that there's like 75% of loser ass podcasts with better production money than ours.
Probably, and I don't know. I don't understand how that happened. I wish Apple Podcasts. I know that there's like Apple
They're the
Music
worst.
has a review, like a Spotify Rap like ripoff. But for podcasters, I want something like what Spotify Rap gave us.
I've heard for many podcasts, many viral podcasts, YouTubers and stuff like that, that is probably like the least priority platform they like upload their
I think it's just because like Apple Podcasts was like the first platform for podcasts, kind of.
that-
You know what I mean? So
iPod Touch.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So like they just never saw a reason to expand, and God, I don't even know. Just thank you everybody so much. We're at 102 subscribers. We get YouTube short clips that blow up every once in a while. This past season, we had an Instagram reel hit 19,000 views over like a clip that I posted about Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yes,
I don't understand how that blew up. Just it took us up until like episode 100 just to figure out how to like make our Facebook account.
Yes, we're there on Facebook. Not only that, dude, like, goddamn, we just realized from uploading older clips that we haven't even been on YouTube for that long.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Like excuse me for like excuse us for like our YouTube just having this wash of content, and it's all like super old content. Like we're about to hit like stuff that was recorded in 2020 because YouTube was never the priority. You know what I mean? We were always like kind of audio only, and we well, it's mainly my fault. Like I never saw a real need to focus on YouTube until like I felt like our video quality was up to snuff, but like Aldo pushed me that like we need to progressively like just get started. You know what I mean? And I was like very hesitant because like I spent a lot of time on YouTube, and like that's like my most hours spent like on social media, if you would call the YouTube social media. So like I feel really strongly about like content quality on that platform, but like we're getting there, you know what I mean? And like that's my fault. Like I was really hesitant to even getting started. So the reason why like we have just all these episodes going up is because we've got this backlog of content that was audio only for like 3 years
And
that I'm trying to catch up on.
And also the reason we started doing YouTube is because some of our listeners, mostly friends of you from Yu-Gi-Oh, were like, you know what? I just wish I could just put this on YouTube. There's people that still don't listen to podcast platforms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because YouTube is so big, it's just like, oh, your podcast is not on YouTube? Why not?
Audio only podcast platforms are already seen as like last gen like media platforms.
Yeah, it's your grandpa's TV.
Yeah, exactly. God, this season.
But anyways,
this season is over like what, like 9 months? I feel like I never realized how long it takes to produce
30 weeks.
30 weeks, you know what I mean? Because like episode 91 is over Free Iwatobi Swim Club, which was recorded in April 2022.
Yeah,
And
April Madness.
April Madness, because like we didn't mess up, but like we had a
An
backlog.
idea
We had
after the fact.
Well, we did March Madness last year. And we actually did it in March, which is like 4 weeks, 4 episodes of like sports content, right? But then something happened in January. There was something we wanted to watch, and we spent so much time.
We had guests already lined up.
Yeah, we had guests lined up, so we had such a backlog of like content lined up that we had to keep pushing the sports month back and back and back to the point that it was no longer March Madness; it was April Madness.
Yes. And with that, yeah, we talked about Free Iwatobi Swimming Club. I don't know. I feel like I think my favorite clips are from that episode, just because how we geeked.
It's funny because
on
like
the reasoning of the structure of this anime.
It's funny because we were also like uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like we like it's not meant for us. Like it's meant to lewd like these high school swimmers. So like a lot of the content was just like I don't know, shirtless anime dudes, and we were just like, cool, like awesome, good for you. But like we kept trying to like pick at it and try. We really tried to give it the benefit of the doubt and like try to pick apart like a deeper meaning, more content, and
because I watched the entire season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I watched the entire season. I watched it, and did I have a bad time? No. But, like, the reason I had a good time was because, like, I was just not making fun, but I was having fun feeling this, like, secondhand embarrassment from the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what would you do this? Oh, my God.
Those clips did, like, blow up a little bit, too, because, like, we were making fun of, like, girls that would like try to lewd like these characters.
That's my favorite part when we're just like
just geeking about being little girls and stuff like that. And it's funny because like I guess I'm not supposed to be talking about season 3, but the episode before that we had just talked about the badminton one.
No. I was gonna bring that past season because the last season ended of Hanebado.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
Yeah,
by the way. Yeah, I forgot how good it looked. It looks like Redline.
Before I forget, March is coming up. So is Feelings February. Because, like, during... we also have, like, a Valentine's-themed month in the month of February. So if you guys have any content you guys want us to watch that's, like a romance, like a piece of media, or...
Sports.
Something that's sports. I think we have a couple ideas so far, so, like, I'll just speak off the cuff. For February, I want to invite Rachel back to watch the Fruits Basket movie. Absolutely.
She was also interested in the Violet Evergarden movie.
Right, that's what I was going to say too. We'd never watched the Violet Evergarden movie, even though that might have been like our favorite anime that we watched in the month of February. Yeah. And I want to watch Quintessential Quintuplets because I know it's a really popular... I don't know. It's a harem kind of. It's talked about. It's got a big discourse. You know what I mean? So we're missing another episode there, another piece of content. If you guys have any ideas for March for sports stuff, you want to watch Blue Lock, but then you also have like an 80s soccer anime that you like.
Captain Tsubasa. Yeah.
Tsubasa. So that's two already.
And then I have this other French film about ice climbing. I think we're filling up the other slot with a Haiku season 2.
Right. That's honestly,
I'm excited for that too.
Even before March, I want to watch another season of Haiku.
Yeah, and it's a love-hate with this kind of theme months because sometimes we're like, oh, we want to watch this, but like, should we save it for this month? I don't know. It just feels right.
There's also just, like, not enough weeks in the year. Like, 52 weeks sounds like a lot, but, like, for everything we want to watch, 52 weeks is just not enough, honestly.
I was talking to a coworker that also likes anime, and I was telling him, like, yeah, this past year I probably watched, like, 55 pieces of anime.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. A lot of time.
But some people would like shit on us for that because
I know.
We are currently in the middle of 5 weeks of watching the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, and I love Hunter x Hunter. I love the Chimera Ant arc especially, like, obviously, but like I feel like I'm at like a standstill, kind of. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things I want to watch, but it's just like, God, I have 17 more episodes of the Chimera Ant arc I need to get through by next Tuesday. So it's just like I'm dragging myself to the finish line, just trying to like just get there. And like it's great, it's excellent. It's like the greatest shonen of all time. But
and this is what we think about, so we can give you episodes that you guys want. Because somebody was like, please just do Chimera Ant.
Everybody did. Yeah. Everybody did. Like like our friend of the pod, Valentino Hernandez Jr. bugs me all the time. Like the podcast cannot come up in like a group chat I'm in with him without him being like, how have you not watched the Chimera Ant arc yet? I'm like, dude, like it's 61 episodes. Like let me
breathe.
Please.
But Swim Club, man, I didn't hate it. I feel like if you are, I feel like if you're a swimmer or a girl,
if you're actually a swimmer, even if you're a swimmer, I can't imagine watching it. It's just so cringy. It's just like, what's the clip? It's kind of like just be like, oh, I can't quit you, bro. You're the best swimmer I know.
Yeah, it's like a toxic relationship revolving swimming. So it's like, instead of being like, hey, I can't be without you kind of thing, it's like I I need to swim with you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I need to see you shirtless in the pool every day, or I don't want to swim, bro.
Yeah, I need to race it till the end.
The last episode for the for April Madness was kind of sportsy a little bit. It was we kind of put it. It was a little bit of a stretch, but you wanted to watch it, and it is about boxing. So we did make it work.
It is, yeah. No, absolutely. It definitely falls into March Madness.
What is it?
Megalobox.
Megalobox. It's like what? Like it's like a 2018 Crunchyroll original or something. I can't even remember.
Yes, and one I did have some gripes about the anime. The story is alright. It reminds me of Red Line.
Why does everything remind you of Red Line right now?
I don't know. Well, the amazing animation in Hanabado, but like Megalobox reminds me of Red Line just because of the taking advantage of kind of plot line. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even though the agent doesn't really want to take advantage of his boxer, but like he does, but then he doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
This is dumb, but like I told you, so Aldo came to my house. What time is it? Is it 12? It's noon?
About to be 1.
Oh my god. 1. It's almost 1 p.m. on December the 3rd, right? Mm-hmm. Aldo came over to my house at 7:59 a.m. on a Saturday to watch the USA versus Netherlands game. We got washed, but it's besides the point. But while we were watching the game, I was telling Aldo that I was exhausted because I was up till almost 3 o'clock last night playing the boxing quest line for Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. Now that we're talking about Megalobox, I'm like, okay. Sense. But like in Cyberpunk 2077, the boxing quest line, it's like a... What's the boxing SNES
Punch
game?
Out.
It's like Punch-Out, right? So it's like you're the little guy. Yeah. You're not as yoked out. You don't have as many mods. You don't have giant robot arms like everybody else. But everyone else has like a clear weakness that you're supposed to exploit, and that's what's going to make you the better boxer.
So if your fighter is the big dude, don't hit him in the body. Try to go for the phase. If your opponent is Mike Tyson, try to dodge, and then hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And that's also the plot to Megalobox. It's like it's about people having giant modded robot arms. And the guys just kind of
on me.
Yeah. And the guys just like, you know what? That's how I'm gonna enter the FIFA World Cup of boxing by standing out, by being the only one not using the robot arms because I'm confident in my own boxing abilities.
Yeah,
but
he had external and exoskeleton, right? Megalobox?
No.
No.
It was it was like implants almost. It was like at first it was kind of just like tubes and stuff.
Right, like an external like exoskeleton with like pistons and shit.
When
and
I think
hydraulics.
Yeah, like pistons.
Yeah.
I don't think of like an exoskeleton as like pistons and stuff like that. But I guess you're right.
Yeah.
The main villain in Megalobox had more of an exoskeleton because his was actually like glued to like his arms and stuff like that. And that's what's funny about the Cyberpunk like questline because like the last boss, the last boxer you fight, it's just like super modded up, 300-pound dude. Like, how am I gonna fight him? I haven't even invested in like hand-to-hand combat in the game because it's an RPG too. How am I gonna do that? And then like your Ripper Doc is your ringside coach, and he's just like, listen. I heard a rumor that he just got his abs grafted on him last week, and it's being rejected. Just keep punching him in the gut. So here I go, but in the gut, and it's terrible. Ding, ding, ding. Well, it's terrible because like he's got a giant, enormous health bar, and like I haven't even invested in stamina, so I don't even have enough stamina to just keep it on the ground. I just gotta like duck back and run away like as soon as like he gets back up after I punch him in the gut, and not only that. It seems like there's going to be a rematch, but I don't know. Maybe
who knows?
Megalobox is cool. Megalobox is cool, but I remember at the time liking it more than when we watched it this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I watched Megalobox, I thought it was going to be better animated.
Yeah,
because the posters are insane.
Yeah.
The poster art for it...
it's because the art style, the anime was sold even at the time as kind of like a Cowboy Bebop art style, which people
Samurai
really
Champloo
like.
kind of
Yeah, Samurai Champloo. It's the same director. It's the same producer. And yeah, it's fine. It's cool. It's like what? Like a 7, 8 out of 10? It's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's neat. It's But other than that, that was like the end of our April madness.
Yeah.
But then we watched. Okay, I'm glad we're talking about this one because this one's very on theme right now.
It's fitting. It's fitting. Yeah, I was gonna bring this up even if it wasn't on the list, but I'm glad it's on the list.
I'm glad. So episode 93 was Tokyo Godfathers. It's his name's Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon is one of 4 like anime film directors that like everyone loves. Like they have no duds. Like everything's absolutely stupendous. It's Satoshi Kon.
It's a Quentin Tarantino.
Right. The most out of them.
Yeah.
So like, if the 4 biggest anime film directors,
Kubrick.
no, the film directors though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh well, Kubrick isn't. Are you relating him to somebody?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Okay.
Yeah, like if like film directors are Kubrick, Tarantino. What's the
GDT?
Mafioso? Yeah, what's the other mafioso dude?
Oh,
The old man with the eyebrows.
the one that's like dating his 14-year-old stepdaughter or something.
Holy shit! I didn't know
The
that.
one that the Manhattanite, right?
The guy that did The Departed.
Yes. He's dating like he started dating like his 14-year-old stepdaughter.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese?
Yeah. It's like a really big thing. Like a lot of people were like when cancel culture started happening, they were like, how does Martin Scorsese still have a career? Like his wife is like 30 years younger than him, and she was like a girl when like they started dating and stuff like that.
I thought that was. I think you're confusing him with.
Am I confusing him with somebody else?
Not Warhol. That's the artist. With Jim Carrey plays his character in The Moon Man. The Men of the Moon, or Jim Carrey. Man of the Moon.
Kaufman?
No.
Andy Kaufman.
I can't remember, but I think you're confusing him, dude. Yeah, he's married to a nation that he adopted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're confusing him.
No. Anyways, just keep going.
Anyways, yeah. But yes, Satoshi Kon is one of these filmmakers from the anime industry, because you have Ghibli, you have
what's his name from Ghibli?
Miyazaki.
Yeah. So it's
Miyazaki.
like Satoshi Kon, it's Miyazaki, it's Hosoda, and it's
Shinkai.
Yeah, Makoto Shinkai. And like those are like the powerhouses of like the anime film industry. Like out of all of them, like none of them have a dud. Like everything's stupendous. And like what Aldo was relating to, Satoshi Kon might be the most like
out there.
The most like norm breaking out of all of them in like the best way possible. Like I only mean that as a compliment, because like it's like, especially Tokyo Godfather. We talked about it during last episode a little bit. It is a Christmas movie. It is literally a Christmas anime original film. About like a bunch of homeless people trying to get a baby back to like her mother.
A dumpster baby, yeah.
It's a dumpster baby back to her mother. The Yakuza are involved. There's like a bunch of like trans rights like messaging in it. It's there's mental health stuff in it. It humanizes the people that we should be thinking about during Christmas, because it's a Christmas movie. Because if Christmas is supposed to be about giving back, right? These people have nothing, and like they spend the coldest, most bitter parts of in urban Tokyo trying to get like literally an abandoned baby they found in a dumpster back to her parents. It's like the sweetest story you've ever heard.
And you said it in episode 93. I remember you said it is like the worst possible situation a baby could be a dumpster baby, and this family of homeless people finds fulfillment in their own lives through them getting to this situation. It is so good. It is so good, man.
Just talking about Tokyo Godfather is like
it
just
gets
like
me teary,
oh my god, I love it so much. It's the perfect
It's
film.
amazing.
Like, it's so
it is now the time. This is going to be your first December episode, I believe. So if you listen to this at the right
second, Oh no,
No,
first.
yeah.
This one's the first.
This is the first December episode, so if you guys watch this and you still got some holiday cheering you, watch this fucking movie. This movie, it is amazing. Satoshi Kon, Paprika, Perfect Blue.
Yeah,
You know
yeah. I almost forgot about those ones. Yeah, yeah.
It is a great movie. When we got into it, I didn't know what to think.
Aldo wasn't excited because, like, I don't think we related Satoshi Kon to a lot of his stuff yet. We hadn't watched Paprika yet. I think we watched it this season. We're going to talk about it later.
No, I think we watched the
Oh,
last
did we?
season. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, we hadn't associated the name with the work yet a little bit. You know what I mean? So Aldo fucking loves Perfect Blue. Like, Perfect Blue, like, Aldo references it, like, every other episode. Like, I don't know. It's just real good. I think you should watch it. And I think it's funny because we went immediately... So we wanted... Something happened. And that's why we had 2 films back-to-back. Because, you know, we needed some breathing room, so we're not just watching a whole season. So we went from watching Tokyo Godfathers to watching Bubble.
Oh, we needed time for JoJo's... That's what we needed.
Oh, that's right, with CJ.
Yes,
because the what's it called? Part
Crusaders?
3 is called Stardust Crusaders. Is like it's 40-something episodes, so we needed time to watch it, and so we made ourselves watch Bubble 2 with Studio Bubble. It was advertised a lot, like Netflix, as a Netflix original, went out of their way to advertise on it a lot. And it was bad. It was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and the way we say dog shit is not like dog shit, like, you know, like, what's
the worst thing I could think of?
Godzilla?
Yeah, Godzilla singular point.
Probably, yeah. And we're not talking dog shit that is dog shit like that, but when you have all these powerhouses, all these people involved in so many projects,
with studio,
voice actors, anime directors, cinematographer, not cinematographer.
The music was good.
Yeah,
like
CGI, the music, writers into it. You're like, oh shit.
There were a lot of names, like a lot of names, like, because I'm not normally associated with these types of names, but like we were going through it. We were going through everybody's IMDb, everybody's wiki. We were like, oh my god,
shit,
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and Bobo has a moral oral effect, as you say, that it might be good.
Right.
Because at the beginning it's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be crazy, but then it just flatlines for like maybe 2/3 of the movie, and it just shows you a cool character doing cool things. Which, don't get me wrong, it's animated amazing. It has good music, but at the end of the day, with the names involved in the writing, it feels like you said, like, it feels like people worked in different pieces of the movie because they couldn't work with themselves.
Here's one example of like what we're talking about. So it's with studio, like everything you love that's kind of like sort of slice of life-y. So that's they're even producing Spy Family right now. They're doing they just announced a new anime for next season about like an idol school boot camp thing. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but like the director for Bubble, his name is Tetsuro Araki. I'm going to ask you if you recognize any of these works.
Yes.
From 2006, 2007, he was the lead director for a work called Death Note.
Yes, I know.
He was the lead director for 2010's High School of the Dead.
Okay.
He was the director for the 2013 season of Attack on Titan.
Oh, I know Attack on Titan.
He was the chief director for Attack on Titan season 2. He was the chief director for Attack on Titan season 3. He he's goated with the sauce. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being serious.
Yeah, his wiki, his IMDb is made of steel.
And it's absolutely crazy that they produce this terrible, because, and that's what hurt, because like the main point we always talk about whenever we bring up Bubble is like somebody somewhere drew the character from Bubble and was just like, this is a cool character design, isn't it? Can we make an entire original work out of this?
She's a bubble.
She's a bubble, bitch. And then it's just bad, and it's absolutely terrible. And like I haven't watched it again since. And like it only comes up in conversation of something not to do.
Yes, it's because I don't know. It just feels weird because our protagonist is down in the dump, but then he finds this fantastical being made out of bubbles in which then she has to be trained like as a little kid, but then it makes it weird.
But then it was parkour.
Yeah, but then it's parkour.
Why was there parkour?
Yeah. And then like seismic, like seismic, like terror to it.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's wild.
Like, what if all of Tokyo was underwater and everyone's just doing parkour for some reason? It's like
Tornado 3 with parkour. Yeah, dude. And that's what's kind of crazy with Bubble. But
fuck Bubble.
But right here, I don't know if you guys noticed. Hopefully you guys noticed. But this time around, you know, we have lights. We're messing with the colors. Drew, it slipped my mind. Drew was like, "Hey, V, what kind of colors do you want? You know, like for your aesthetic."
Yeah, she was we got small little Amazon Studio lights in here. And yeah, not only her aesthetic, you know what I mean. She's a girl. She puts effort into her looks more than we do most of the time. So
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm not trying to let that effort go to waste. V, like, what colors do you want?
Yeah.
So we put brighter, fleshed out lights. I think it was a really cool conversation. Obviously, like, we get along with V perfectly. I would hope that you get along with V.
I think. I don't know if she likes me, but
Hunter x Hunter season 3's The Tower, right?
Greed Island.
No, that's season 4.
No, season 2 is. Season 2 is.
Season 2 is just them training for the tower.
Is that it?
Yeah. Season 2 is just when they're with the nerd with the untucked shirt,
Uh-huh.
where they're learning about Nen. And they're
Okay.
training to get to Hisoka's level so that they can actually challenge the tower. And
No, it's the Kurapika. Is the Kurapika auction arc.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so yeah, you're right. You're
Yes.
right. So season 3 of Hunter x Hunter is the city.
Season 2's the tower, and then like
Season 3 is a name for something. It's
the ghost
Night City or the what's the troop called? The Phantom Troop.
The Phantom Troop. There you go.
It's the Phantom Troop arc where they're gonna raid the auction or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and I love having V&A episodes because I feel like I could just get to chill out and like just like throw my 2 cents in every once in a while. I'm just like, yeah, V, that was a great point. Yeah, Nen's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which if I were to compare the 2 Hunter x Hunter episodes we had in season 4, I much prefer our second one where we talk about Greed Island because like that, like we had pictures up here, we had images, and like. Don't get me wrong, like the Phantom Troop is plenty cool, and it's like the first iteration of the Hunter x Hunter anime. Where like like you've been explaining Nen for an entire season. Now it's like, okay, what does that actually culminate into? Like what is like the actualization of Nen actually look like? And it is the Phantom Troop arc. Like here are 10 interesting characters that are all accomplished Nen users. What does that look like?
Yeah, it also does feel like our creator, the universe be with him. But we're getting new Hunter x Hunter chapters now, so that's good. I think he stepped away from actually animating the thing just to like write it, and he's having like
Togashi.
Yeah, Togashi, and but it does feel like he fell in love with Kurapika's character.
Honestly, I was going to save this point until we actually talked about Hunter x Hunter next week. But I almost wanted to break it to V because like I almost don't even want to watch the last season of the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime because it's not about anything. It's an election. You know what I mean? It's like literally nothing happens. Like the ending of the Chimera Ant arc, Gon famously like loses his ability to use Nen, and then he's just kind of not part of the story. And like a lot of people don't understand, like, no, Gon has literally not been part of the manga for like over a decade because the author Togashi has gone on record being like, no, like Gon's story's done, like he got his revenge, he met his dad finally, and now it's just about Kurapika's revenge. What is the end of Kurapika's revenge story? And that's like where the manga's at. And don't get me wrong, like it seems like over a decade sounds crazy, but there's only been a handful of chapters in that decade. So like there isn't a whole lot of content outside of like Gon's story, but like yeah, Gon's story is essentially done.
Yeah, and I just hope they're doing good over there with the production of the new chapters and stuff.
No, yeah,
No?
they just came out with a chapter. Well, a chapter just leaked 2 days ago. An official publication will come out tomorrow on the 4th. And yeah, like, that's fairly consistent. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to how it's been for the past decade, like, that is super consistent. We've had, like, what, over 5 chapters just in the past 4 months? That's crazy. That's crazy for Hunter x Hunter.
I think from what I heard, like, he... our creator, what's his name again? I'm sorry, Tagashi.
Togashi.
I think he finally, let his pride down and like is able to let other people animate it.
I get what that's like, though.
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
You've been in the workplace, like even.
Yeah.
I don't even mean like technical jobs, like even bartending. Like
if you want to do something right, you do it yourself.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's just like you're swamped. You ask your coworker for work. He's like, where's this? Where's that? Shut up, I'll do it myself. Like, I can't hold your hand right now. Like, let me just get this done. And immediately after that is the culmination of those past few weeks where we were trying to catch up on Stardust Crusaders. And we had Christopher James, like, friend of the podcast, CJ, in here. And, like, it went so well that it went horribly. Because we tried to fit both parts of Stardust Crusaders into one episode. But the three of us love Stardust Crusaders so much that we got less than halfway through the Stardust Crusaders anime until we were like, dude, we've been recording for like 5 hours. We gotta everyone goes home. Aldo's got to go to his like girl and his kid. Like,
and like 5 hours of recording, guys, is like it's 3 hours of content. You know, we
there's cuts, there's pee breaks. Yeah. We went to Popeyes or something in the middle of it.
Yeah, we eat. We have to eat. It's crazy. But dude, what can we say about JoJo's that we haven't said before? You know what I'm saying?
It's the most famous part. It's the most successful part.
The part 3 of Stone Ocean just came out.
Part 3 of Stone Ocean just came out, and like I'm excited for it because like I haven't seen it, but I have read the entirety of the Stone Ocean manga, so I already know what's going to happen. But I'm excited to watch it because the manga reads horribly, and like I kind of don't even have any real idea what the last like part of the manga is about. But the subreddit for JoJo's, Twitter, are absolutely geeking about how this is the best of the 3 parts for Stone Ocean, and that like it was kind of worth the wait. Like, not entirely, because David Production kind of sold the production rights in the United States to Netflix, and Netflix just did Netflix things and was like, hey, instead of just releasing episodes weekly like a normal production company, we're just gonna
milk the shit out of it.
We're just gonna milk the shit out of it. So they dropped 12 episodes, didn't give us anything for like 6 months, and then dropped another 12 episodes, made us wait only 3 months this time, only 3 months. And then we finally got the last chunk of episodes. But like apparently it's up to snuff because Stardust Crusaders is somehow animated better than like the majority of Stone Ocean, even though it's the same production company and it seems like they had more time with it. Because Stardust Crusaders, it's so out there, it's like hilarious and like geeky and like stupid, even though like it has like the most try-hard JoJo. Like Jotaro Kujo is the cool guy JoJo, you know what I mean, as opposed to young Joseph or even Jonathan Joestar. Like, he's the cool guy, like yeah, I smoke cigarettes and I punch girls in the face and like
I hate my mom.
Yeah, and I hate my mom, and like my Japanese grandpa's a dickhead. But he is a dickhead. Yeah. But like, what sucks, and that I always tell my friends in like my personal life, what I always think about when it comes to like trying to podcast JoJo's, is that like, especially like there's certain episodes that we're just like, nah, like we're just gonna talk in broad terms, like get through it like in a reasonable amount of time, have a good amount of time for a nerd down, yada yada yada. The fun about JoJo's is that Araki loves character design. He loves just like inventing new powers, new characters, and just throwing it in the next chapter.
And fights too.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And it makes the fight super interesting. But that means that you can't talk about JoJo's from like Stardust Crusaders onwards without actually breaking down every fight, because it's like, what am I going to do? Not break down all the cool like JoJo powers?
And villains.
Yeah. That's like half the fun of JoJo's. Like, you can't not talk JoJo's without talking about the characters and the powers and the villains. So like you're really there spending 10 minutes talking about every 20-minute episode, and then you have to split it up in 2 parts, and you have like 7 hours of Stardust Crusaders content.
Yeah, and then I believe we lost a chunk of the conversation that for the first part, didn't we?
Because my phone ran out of memory because we had been talking for so long about Stardust Crusaders. Yeah. My phone ran out of memory, and we had to like re-record part of the part 1 of Stardust Crusaders the next time we got together with CJ, which was the week. I'm glad CJ's available. Like, CJ works with us a lot.
Yeah. Like,
out of everybody, like, I know I can rely on CJ to show up and stuff like that.
No, absolutely. And we had to break that shit down, but we did it back to back, so that was kind of exhausting too.
Right, but because like we messed up so hard. Well, we didn't mess up so hard because we kind of messed up in like trying to record Stardust Crusaders when it comes to part 4, which is called
Diamond.
Diamond is Unbreakable. Like I've already like done the research. I already know like where the cutoff point would be. I know roughly how many hours of content we can create from each episode. Train. No, that's 5. Oh, okay. So you were right the first time. Diamond is Unbreakable is part 4. And so I'm excited to talk about it. I know for a fact CJ would be down to come back because that's at least 2 episodes of content right there. And I know the exact cutoff point. I know what villain it ends on. I've got it planned out. Whenever we have time in our schedule, amongst all this other stuff we're trying to do between now and the end of March, like I got you guys. It's up here. I know it.
And then from going to JoJo's, we loved Demon Slayer, right?
Demon Slayer Mugen Train.
Hell yeah.
The film. I think you watched the film version. I watched the anime seasonal version because I'd already seen the film. We'd both seen the film, no?
Yes, we both seen the film.
Was that your second time watching the film?
That was my first time watching the film, but then again, the film, it's about the second half of the second season.
The first half of the second season.
Oh, the first half of the second season of
right, so we had 2 Demon Slayer episodes this season as well.
Yes.
In season 4 between its podcasts.
Mugen Train and Entertainment District.
Right. And Mugen Train, that one's crazy because I think we both almost cried when talking about the ending, just like everybody did.
Don't lie to them.
Yeah. But like Rengoku's best boy. Like everybody loves Rengoku, you know? And like this is when I started like really getting into my clickbait titles and like is Rengoku best boy? It's neat. It's awesome. It's Demon Slayer. It's the best, like, compact, like, finished shonen work in the past 10 years. It's
what a way to drop the mic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like season 1's like groundbreaking in and of itself. Like everyone loves season 1 of Demon Slayer, but then the movie came out, and it's just like, oh my god, Demon Slayer. Oh my god, you're really playing with like my emotions in this movie, like in the second arc. Like you're really just like throwing the book at me when it comes to like literary novelties. This is crazy.
Yeah, and Demon Slayer like subtly potato sacks you on like Made in Abyss. You know what I'm saying?
Explain that point.
Like they subtly like they build you up to it. They kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, fuck, something's bad can happen, but it hasn't happened yet, and then it happens, and you're
it's just crazy.
It's terrible. But then fucking Man in Abyss is just like, ha, bad shit happens
right away, just like anus ripping.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just crazy. It's a testament to how good the writing in Demon Slayer is because like you have Rengoku in manga for like 10 chapters. In the movie, you have him for like an hour. You have him for like an hour and 15, 20 minutes until like he just dies. And like that doesn't happen in shonen literature. Like you don't just get this brand new, cool, interesting character that's going to be the cool older brother that's going to teach him how to be better demon slayers, and then he just dies. That never happens. When does that ever happen?
We did talk about that. Was one of our points in Demon Slayer. The author, she never not told us that being a demon slayer was easy.
Yeah,
like it was always like, dude, only like out of the entire Demon Slayer corp, only 10% like survive.
Right.
You know? And seeing those real risk in an anime, it's almost nice. It's almost a payout because, for example, in One Piece, how much is it talked about? Oh, if you eat a devil fruit, you're gonna drown and die. How many people have drowned and died?
I've yet to see anybody drown.
Yeah, exactly.
I've yet to see anybody drown.
But it's such a risk in almost every arc that I watch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
But here, being a demon slayer is actually at risk. Because, like, you are going to die probably tonight, if not tomorrow.
And that's, like, the animation is stupendous. Like, we haven't even gotten to the actual, like, how it looks by UFO Table. We watched... Well, technically, I guess we got 3 episodes this season that are about UFO works, because we talked about Demon Slayer twice, and then we watched Fate Zero.
Yes.
So we talked about UFO Table 3 times this season. Like, UFO Table is so good. Like, UFO...
The work.
And, like, it's funny because all UFO Table, like, currently produces is just Demon Slayer. Like, Demon Slayer is paying that UFO Table, like, light bill.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's how big of a product this is. It's amazing. It's stupendous. We'll talk about it more in a second, because, like, we're going to talk about the Entertainment District arc in a little bit. But... the sleeper hit we didn't know was gonna be a sleeper hit at the time. This might have been like the first like, wow, I didn't know that was gonna be that good. Like when it came to this season was we talked about season 1 of Tokyo Revengers. Oh my god! Like and it's not even like going from Demon Slayer to Tokyo Revengers, the animation quality drops off a hill. Like absolutely, but like Tokyo Revengers is amazing. Like it is such a great written story. Like the manga is currently like still coming out. Season 2, it's called like the Christmas Massacre or something. Like just got announced. It like I didn't know what we were getting into, and like I remember texting you like 2 days before we recorded, being like, "Bro, I was so excited to talk about Tokyo Revengers. I don't even know where I got this idea from. Who presented us the Tokyo Revengers idea?"
It's because at the time, Tokyo Revengers and another thing on Netflix had come out. I can't remember what it was called, but like the two were they had a lot of discord like in the internet,
right?
And I feel like you told me that you started watching that one show on Netflix. I can't remember. You're like, oh, no, that's not that great. I just can't remember what it was.
I don't even remember.
And then you're like, no, let's watch this other one, Tokyo Revengers, being a... Steins Gatey... Erase, kind of.
It's like Erase. It reminded me most of
Butterfly
Erase
Effect.
at the time. Yeah.
It's really good because it closes its loops. It doesn't just fuck you up with time traveling like the girl who leapt through time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Really good. You didn't like the character modeling, right?
I hate it. I think it's so ugly. I think it's absolutely atrocious. Like
when they're in their peak gangster, that's when it gets good.
I still think it's pretty... Well, it's cool once they introduce, like, the middle school, like, gang characters. Like, once you start seeing, like, people with buzz cuts and, like, face tattoos and, like... Apparently, there's a live-action film for Tokyo Revengers that's fairly popular in Japan. They're cosplayed a lot. I'm seeing a lot of figures for Tokyo Revengers, which is different because, like, because it's not a traditional shonen. It's just about, like, middle school street gangs, right? But, like, a lot of, like, male... Like, most anime... Like plastic... like anime figurines, they're mostly girls, you know what I mean? Or it's just like big strong anime dudes, or it's fucking Venom, or My Hero Academia characters.
These guys are just like chilling.
Yeah, Tokyo Revengers is actual dudes. It's just like dudes in black coats and face tattoos. And like it's so different, but it's also the same in like the best way possible, because it's like you're really comfortable in like this writing space. Like you kind of understand where these characters are already coming from, who these characters, like character traits, are modeled off of, but then at the same time it's like, oh my god, like it's so because Erased is a story about this guy grows up to be a loser, but then he starts remembering what it was like in elementary school when he had this crush on this girl, yada yada yada. And then Tokyo Revengers is about this loser, same kind of story, just like almost 30, working at like a video rental store, or like a bookstore, or a library, or something like that. And then he sees on the news that like the girl he dated in middle school died randomly, and then he just gets like transported back to like the 7th grade one day.
Yeah.
And like what you were saying, it's the butterfly effect thing. Like, how can I better everything this point? How can I save this girl?
See, but in comparison with Erased, in Erased, it feels like there's a stop clock like behind you. It feels like there's a clock behind you. Like it just feels like the countdown of a basketball game. Like every time he goes back into like back in time. Here in Tokyo Rangers, it's more lax,
Right.
And it just makes the story not so like anxiety building.
This is also the first of 2 Leiden Films animations that we watched this season.
What else did we watch?
We watched Call of the Night.
Oh yeah,
Leiden Films. I had no idea who Leiden Films was until we watched this. I remember like this at the time. I remember just like in episode being like, what is this? These are nobodies. This is nothing. This is absolutely terrible. Except for like 2016 Berserk, the Netflix one. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Leiden Films is cool. I'm glad they're on the up and up because like I go through their past works. It's not very good. I don't have another word for it.
Well, I remember even before we watched Call of the Night that you had the manga, right?
For Call of the Night, no.
No, or did you read like online? Because I know you were sending some.
That's what I mean. There was a reason that like we watched Tokyo Revengers. Somebody told me, or I kept seeing on Twitter, Tokyo Revengers this, Tokyo Revengers that, and that's why we watched it. Because I had to like coerce you into wanting to watch it. Because I was like, I like pulled out the receipts, bro. I was like, look, Twitter says it's great. It's reviewed excellent.
Did you?
Something like that.
I think you did.
There was something like that. I don't remember the details. Go watch that episode. And then comment on this video telling us why we watched Tokyo Revengers. Because like I know for sure we brought it up in that episode.
But it's really good. I really like the motivations and the cliffhanger at the end of season 1. Perfect. I mean,
amazing. What do you mean? It's like a 10 out of 10. It's like a Breaking Bad cliffhanger. It's amazing.
We were talking about Odd Taxi, and sadly, we're not gonna get anything on Odd Taxi anymore.
Right. Ever.
You know, and the Odd Taxi finale, it ended with the murderer getting a ride from our taxi driver.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
That's just crazy.
Absolutely. You know what was not crazy?
I can tell you.
Tell me.
Vampire Hunter D.
Vampire Hunter D 1985.
Episode 100.
Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I feel like you had some nostalgia glasses almost.
I'd never seen it.
Oh, you had never seen it?
I had never seen it, but
Never
like
mind.
I know the internet speaks well about it because like it's like there's only like a handful of like high profile Japanese imports that came through in the 80s. You know what I mean? And Vampire Hunter D is one of those, and it had a couple of sequels or something like that were fairly popular in the United States.
And you can talk to some nerds, and they still swear by it. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic. You should watch it. That's a classic."
But it's one of those that's just like just because it's an anime that was important to the United States in the 80s just makes it popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those like we have this argument all the time, especially when it comes to things that were popular on Toonami, about like just availability being a big reason why we remember it so much.
And I remember you, and the reason I said you had some sort of glasses, maybe it was just maybe you didn't notice it at the time, but I did bring up a lot of points of the production that like repeated animated frames were
Oh no,
used
you
throughout-
roasted it. You absolutely roasted Vampire Hunter D.
throughout the season. They had like dead sound, like
There was no season, it was a movie.
Oh, it was a movie. I'm sorry. Like they used like multiple what do you call it? They repeated frames for the animation. They had like dead noise, like in a lot of.
There's
the
no
movie.
music in it.
There's
Like
no
there's
music
there's
in it.
just like no. So you're
Just
right.
Like, dun, 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 dun,
Oh
dun.
god, it's so bad.
Dun,
It's
dun, dun.
which don't get me. I feel like if they redid Vampire Hunter D with
sure
like
it will be
2020,
good.
it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure
like
it'll
it's
be really good.
like even just keep the plot exactly the same, literally exactly the same. Just update all the sound effects, update all the animated effects, get like brand new voice actors, all that. It would be a home run hit, like easily.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just like with 2022 sensibilities, watching this movie out of 1985, which don't get me wrong, we love stuff produced in the 80s. Like one of the first episodes we ever did was over Akira. Like Akira's made like compare these only came out like 2 years apart. This came out after Akira. Like watch Akira, then watch Vampire Hunter D. It's like night and day. Like it's so different.
Absolutely. Nothing else much to say about Vampire Hunter D.
Well, I want to talk about how you nagged and completely had unfair opinions about very biased opinions during our first conversation of Jujutsu Kaisen. I know I've been giving you flack for it all season. Ever since we recorded episode 101, I've been giving you flack for it, and you've been honest about it, and like you've reprimanded your past grievances, and I appreciate that. But we, at your behest, watched season 1 of Bleach. Yes. The first 25 episodes.
Yeah. I thought all of season 1 of Bleach happened in the course of 5 episodes.
It's weird how your memory, like, fucks with you. Because, like, so we sat here and talked about
nothing that happens in Bleach season 1.
Nothing happens in Bleach season 1. Absolutely nothing. Like, it's just... God, it's a miracle it even made it past season 1.
Is the first 5 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho stretched out
for 25 episodes? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's complete dog shit. Which is funny because like literally it's just a Yu Yu Hakusho ripoff that came out in like 2006, like verbatim. And like I'm sure if you asked the mangaka, he'd probably say that for sure. But it's just so not Yu Yu Hakusho. Like it's weird how good something like Yu Yu Hakusho is 15 years before Bleach. Even though Bleach was trying so hard to be Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, and when we first talked about Jujutsu Kaisen, my gripe was like, you know what? I've seen this before. I prefer to watch the actual things that this is based on.
And then we watched it, and what happened?
And then we watched it, and I'm like, God damn it! I love Yu Yu Hakusho. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. Like Jujutsu Kaisen I don't know. It's a cup of tea now compared to.
Like, how would I put it? So, Bleach Season 1 is a shot of Taka. Jujutsu Kaisen is a nice craft vodka. Like, what's the Texas one I'm thinking
of? It's like creme brulee, if anything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's smooth. It's nice.
It's a mixed gin cocktail, if anything.
Wow.
It's super good. Yeah, Bleach Season 1's ass. We'll get back to it eventually because the season you do want to talk about is Season 3, which means that we need a whole nother episode getting to be able to get to the Soul Society arc.
And it's hard, nerds. It's hard once you walk yourself through this door of like nostalgia's good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And now we're hooked in the Bleach. Not just because of that, but because there is a new Bleach season.
Yeah,
you know
the 1,000-Year Blood War arc.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes. They're real good.
Yeah,
real good.
I heard good things about it.
It's going to be a 4-core season, which means that it's going to be what's 12 times 4? It's going to be like 48, 50 episodes.
Oh shit, that's wild.
Yeah, and like we're approaching like episode 9, 11, something like that. 9, 10. Is that how math works? It's 9, then 10, then 11.
Nice. After that, after Bleach, what do we have?
The GOAT, bro! We had Mashuko Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. I love it so much. God, I have spent so much time since we recorded episode 102 just immersing myself in Mashuko Tensei Jobless Reincarnation.
Lore.
But not even lore, just actually appreciating the work. I have 3 light novels from like where season 1 of Mashuko Tensei ends onward. And I am completely livid, and I think about it at work all the time, how terrible it is that all of the light novels are on back order. I have light novels of Mashuko Tensei 10 through 12 on back order, and they've been on back order for like 3 months already. And I just want them. I want to read them. I can read like a volume of Mashuko Tensei in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Give it to me. Let me gobble it up. Please.
And we love the theme. We love the isekai aspect to it. We love redemption stories. We love the adventure world, the fantastical world that is, magic and what Full Metal Alchemists try to serve the people. But here in Mashuko Tensei, I feel like it's way better.
I feel like the first time I ever heard about Mashuko Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, there's so many isekais with titles like that. You know what I mean?
Like, you don't have to kill my mother and take my brother's body to give me, like...
It's just there's so many isekais, and they all have similar titles. It's hard to differentiate them until you watch them. But, like... It wasn't until it was a it might have been a Giguk YouTube episode that I was watching.
What?
His name is Giguk. He's one of the biggest anime YouTubers.
So the competition? I'm just
Hey, I need
guy.
that. I need that inside input so I can know. But like honestly, and like I hate Giguk. He's like this British dude with like please go touch grass like jokes. Like it's just he's super cringe and terrible. But like he was showing clips in that episode of Mashuko Tensei, and I was like, holy shit! Like he might be right. This like he's onto something. Like I see something here. So I was like, oh, please, you made me watch Bleach season 1. Please just let me watch Mashuko Tensei. Give me one. Give me one.
I remember we were finishing our recording in Bleach, and I'm sitting here like doing final touches.
I had to sell it on you. I was like, you want to watch episode 1 of Mashuko Tensei?
Lobby, yeah. And hey, that first episode was really fucking good.
Bro, like it's literally like some of the best animation.
And the magic, the power system in Mashuko Tensei. This is probably our most talked about YouTube content.
It literally has the most comments of any of our YouTube videos.
It trigger a couple of nerds. Thank you, nerds, for your feedback. We like it, even though we talk shit about your comment. Because we don't know what place you're coming from. We have to have our walls up. We don't trust you. You haven't been talking to us. But please talk to us.
All we did was say great things about it, and we still had people in our comments being like, this is the most bullshit, dog shit opinion I've ever heard. He was actually a saint tier water mage, which meant that you said god tier, king tier, priest tier, princess tier. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up, nerd. Shut the fuck up, nerd.
But thank you for the feedback. But honestly, like the power system in Mashuko Tensei, just seeing this kid work water balls, it is crazy.
Aldo likes water balls confirmed.
Water balls.
And like it's great. Like it really. I just said I have 3 light novel volumes on back order, but my understanding, I didn't watch it in 2021 when it came out. But my understanding is it came out in 2 cores that were 1 season separated. So it started in winter 2021, and then they took spring 2021 and summer 2021 off, is my understanding, and like picked up the second half, the second core of the first season starting in the fall. So I have read up to what should be the end of the first core of season 2 of Mashuko Tensei, and I'm so excited. Especially the first third of the first core. It's gonna be amazing. It's some of my favorite like media, and like it got me back into reading. I haven't read a book since like 7th grade. I'm almost 30.
Yeah, because this is actual. It's
a light novel.
Yeah,
it's a book.
No
It's a literal book.
Yeah.
And like exclusively what I read like in middle school was fantasy novels, like American published fantasy novels. There was a series when we were kids called the Keys to the Kingdom series, and like I remember that's all me and my mom would ever talk about. Like, you know, she's like, what, 20 years older than me, and also my mother, but like just because she saw me having interest in something, she would like lightly read the books with me. She would pre-order the books with me. It was just something to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like how I pretend to give a shit about the Dallas Cowboys when I hang out with my stepdad. Yeah. Like it's like that, you know what I mean?
Or anybody in El Paso.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone else in El Paso, that's not my stepdad. I'm gonna actively shit on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But like you know what I mean? I have these really fond memories about like these fantasy novels I read in middle school, and like Mashuko Tensei brought me back into that. Like it made me want to buy a bookshelf. This whole bookshelf to the left of Aldo was bought because I bought volume 7 of Mashuko Tensei, and I was like, I need a nice bookshelf to put this one book, and then I've just been steadily filling it since.
Because before Mashuko Tensei, you like every once in a while will get a manga of something you've had already like watched or be familiar with.
Nothing. I didn't have any, like, none of those volumes. None of those manga volumes or light novel volumes on the top shelf were there before Mashuko Tensei.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
On God. Like, none of them were there.
Kaiju number 8, it's great, and it feels like it has a lot of momentum.
Bought Kaiju number 8 because I was on a book buying spree. Exactly. And like, oh God, I just love Mashuko Tensei. I'm just so excited to get to, I think I'm a co-host, so I'm gonna do it. But like, I think we're gonna split up season 1 into the 2 core discussion, kind of like what we did with, kind of like what we did with Spy Family. You know, the Spy Family was such a big hit. Yeah. Aldo was like, I know the season's not done, and only the first core is done. Let's get Karen in here and let's talk about it. I want to do that with Mashuko Tensei. I'm so actively excited. Like the second the first core ends, the second that first grouping of 12, 13 episodes ends, just like jumping on the mic and talking about it.
I guess one of the hurdles that we have to go through as between herds is that not only do we have to catch the heat on time, we also have to give you guys like the past anime that we haven't talked about. Even if we already watched it, we just want to put out the content for you guys so you guys can talk to us about that content.
We are always nagging about like getting feedback from our friends and stuff like that. All the feedback I ever get from like nerds I know from like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that is just like, how have you not watched this old anime, this other old anime? Have you not watched it? Of course I've watched it. We just don't have time to get back to that. There's so much content to talk about.
I feel like one that stands out as far as that topic goes is like Naruto. It's like we're not,
we have to. Just like I said, how I broke down Diamond is Unbreakable for JoJo's. I broke down a good 26 episode cutoff point for Naruto. It is whenever we get around to it. Maybe if we finally. I know Rachel is a huge Naruto buff.
So probably.
So, like, I think that would help a lot when recording that episode and be like, Rachel, coach us through it. Yeah, we need your energy. We need your enthusiasm with it. Please come through. She's always, like, on her Instagram stories being like, rewatching Naruto again for the 30 millionth time. I don't know how you're doing
that. I know, dude. Yeah.
But, like... It's an ongoing conversation. We will get around to it, I promise.
Yeah, but I'm not shy to jump on hot shit. You know what I'm saying?
I'll talk shit about it.
No. To jump on hot shit.
No, that's what I mean. Like it would be fun to talk shit about it. Like
Naruto? No, what I'm talking about is like your point of like what you want to do with Mashuko Tensei. Like as soon as it comes out, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not shy. I'm not shy on jumping on shit like that because. Shit, now with the World Cup going on and how Japan is on the top of their group, Blue Lock it's pushing me.
Do you know if Blue Lock's going to be like one core season or is it going to be multiple cores for season 1?
No, I think it's a single core.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that'd be real cool. Yeah,
I think so because I think it's almost done, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so that would be one core ending, one core season. Okay.
So, Mashuko Tensei,
watch it.
We've
been saying that since 4 months ago.
Watch it. You can probably if you're a D&D what do you call it? A master, if you're a dungeon master, you can definitely get a lot of ideas from Mashuko Tensei.
It's a really big role-playing thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And as far as our 100th episode on playing D&D, that's still up in the air.
Oh, it's still up in the air. Oh, my God. I know, and I know it's partially my fault, but it's also our dungeon master's fault. It's a lot of moving parts. What we had said was for our 100th episode, we were gonna host a recorded D&D session, like a short 2-hour D&D session, and upload it straight to YouTube. But our D&D our dungeon master had issues that weekend when we had everybody together, and he told me straight up, he was like, "Dog, I can't do it." And I was like, "I understand. Like, go take care of your personal problems. Like, everyone completely understands. Just whenever you're ready, let me know." I think he's in a lot better place. I just need to reach out to him. Cool. And it's a matter of getting all of these groups together to do it.
Yeah, it's a scheduling problem. But anyways, after Mashuko Tensei, do you have anything else on Mashuko? Because Mashuko's good.
Well, going from an 11 out of 10 to going to a 3 out of 10 was...
What are we going to?
Trigun with Mr. Roby Quintela, friend of the podcast. Love him very much. He's got a nice Jeep truck. Good for him. He's also an RN and cancer survivor.
Cancer.
Yeah. Love that man. Yeah. But
I wish he can beat cancer if I ever get it. I wish he can beat my cancer.
Oh, yeah. Squat my cancer away, please. Yeah. But, he made us watch dog shit. But, in a good way, kind of. Because, we ripped on Trigun, the original a release of Trigun
Yeah.
hard. Me and you did hard.
It was not fun at all.
No, but watching that dog shit original season got us really, really excited for the Studio Orange interpretation of Trigun Stampede that's going to be coming out in like 4 weeks. In like, I'm not sure I'd have that same level in the studio. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Studio Orange because of Beastars and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I'm not sure I would be as excited for a new interpretation of the story if it was not for Roby making us watch the original Trigun. Correct. So there was value in us watching it.
Yes, absolutely. It brings value because hopefully after watching Stampede, we could say like, wow, that was dog shit, and we were right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I doubt.
Huh?
Which I doubt. For Stampede?
No, I'm talking about like I hope that after watching Stampede, it's so good that we can be like, haha.
We can shit on the original Trigun even more.
We were right. Yeah. Exactly. It just looks so good. We watched the trailer right before we started recording.
Right before, just because like I was just on Twitter while taking a poop, and like I saw that the trailer dropped. And I was like, Aldo.
Oh shit!
Like we watched it, and like I'm super duper excited. Like it's just gonna be amazing. I can't. Well, I will reserve. That's another one that like. It's because as far as 2022 anime seasons are concerned. Fall 2022 is probably the best season, right? Like, you're talking about Bleach, the 1,000 Year Blood War arc. You're talking about Chainsaw Man. You're talking about Core 2, Spy Family. You're talking about... I have them all right here, and now I can't find them. I said Chainsaw. The Gundam one, we talked about the Gundam one a lot. Blue Lock, we've talked about Blue Lock a couple times already. But as far as, like, Between Nerds podcast is concerned, and things that, like, we... in like our personal discourse, like how was I referring to it like earlier in the season? We have our own
lore.
Yeah, we have like our own lore, and as far as like Between Nerds lore is concerned, I think winter 2023 might be more significant, just because that means we're actually talking about Trigun, and we're talking about Core 2 of Bleach, and we're talking about my dog who just woke up from her nap.
And the reason we want to talk about these past animes is because we also want to have, like substance to what we're talking about. You can't. I feel like some of the things that are coming out now cannot be talked about without talking about something from the past. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's not that you're relating to it. We talked about Jujutsu Kaisen, a fucking hitter. You know what I'm saying?
When is season 2 coming out? Isn't that next year too?
I think that's next year, but I think that's summer.
Oh, it is summer? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? We can't talk about Jujutsu Kaisen without talking about Bleach, without talking about Yu Hakusho, without talking about like some other things in the past. And we're not only watching those past animes for new animes, but we're also watching them because they were there when we're fucking coming up.
I just realized why I was thinking about winter 2023 so much, because it's Tokyo Revengers. It's Near Automata, which is like the video game like I was absolutely obsessed with, like, and I talked about it in Nerd Downs for like 3 months straight. And then it's the one I just brought up. Then it's Trigun.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 things that we actively have talked about on this podcast a bunch that are coming out starting in like January.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You want a breather?
No, I don't want a breather. I want to talk about how within a month and a half period, we had 2 episodes of Demon Slayer. That's how you know we are real Demon Slayer geeks about this. Like Kimetsu no Yaiba. Episode 98, we talk about Mugen Train. Episode 106, we immediately go back to talk about the Entertainment District arc.
It's because we were so distraught by the movie, because the movie is the first part of season 2.
Yes.
And then season 2 came out later, So we're like, we gotta fucking like jump into it.
Well,
we gotta go.
I had read it, and like I remember even before season 2 started, I was just being annoying and trying to spoil it for you, like lightly, like how I normally do. And I was just like, "Oh my god, Aldo, you're not ready for the entertainment district, right? Oh my god, Aldo!" And then like the second it ended, and like I saw like the animation quality that UFO Table did, I was like, "Holy fuck, Aldo! Like we gotta watch this ASAP!" Like.
It goes from, I mean, fuck. Like, how do you even recover from the death of Rengoku? But it puts you in a safe place. Our pillar, what's his name?
Oh god,
guy,
it's something. Right, it's something obvious, and I know what it is. Hold on, it's God, I say it all the time, and I always forget.
You do, yeah. But our pillar, this guy right here.
Hold on, Uzui.
Uzui, he cradled us at the beginning of the second part of season 2. We're in a safe spot.
In his big, strong ninja arms.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, guys. We're in an investigation. We're just trying to find my wives. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah.
We're trying to protect the prostitutes, guys.
And it just...
And then he loses an eye and an arm and almost loses 2 wives. And then Tanjiro almost loses his sister.
And then Nezuko is like a grown woman. With
boobs,
and Tanjiro tastes his blood for the first time, and his scar goes fucking wild. It is absolutely amazing.
Like it might. Well, no, that's not right. I almost said it might be the best animated thing I've seen all year, but that's not right because we just watched Belle last week. Mm-hmm. But like, if you're talking about, oh god, that might also be wrong. I almost said it might be the best singularly best animated episode I've seen all week, but I just had that take when it came to episode 8 of Chainsaw Man, and like I think it might actually be the Chainsaw Man episode. But like for how popular Demon Slayer is, like the second to last episode, or it might actually be the last episode, where it's Tengen Uzui with 1 arm and 1 eye, just going batshit crazy against this upper moon demon who's ugly and terrible, and they're just going at it, and it's just UFO Table animation just at an 11, just going crazy for like 15 minutes. It's insane. Like I wish that had been a film. Like the way film production quality goes up in an anime, because we watch Mugen Train, we watch Jujutsu Kaisen 0. The way the production quality goes up so more once you have a feature-length film. I almost wish that from here on out, every Demon Slayer arc was just a film.
And in comparison with Mugen Train leaves you like devastated, because of the death, and there's no fight our protagonists were able to put up, to right the wrongs. But in season 2, that finale, even though, like, yeah, Tengen lost his eye and his arm, we got his wife back. We saw a growth of Tanjiro, not a growth, almost like a emotional episode.
Like
of
literally
him.
every character.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it also felt like a loss. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even though we didn't lose anybody, it also leaves you with a... what have I done?
Tengen's a cripple now. Like, he's not that, because like they introduce him. It's just like
it leaves you in despair.
Oh yeah, Rengoku died, but I'm so much bigger and stronger, and I'm actually a ninja, and I'm so badass. I have 3 wives. Ha 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 ha. And like it's good writing because it lulls you into that. It's like, yeah, big strong ninja protect us. Let's go. Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, and I feel like it leaves you in the same amount of despair as Mugen Train, but without what's his name? Rengoku's death. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy.
And it's a 1-to-1 interpretation of the manga, which I appreciated so much. Like, there's no because the Demon Slayer manga is written so perfectly, I'd be almost upset if there were like directing liberties when it came to the story. Yeah, I'd be livid because just like the Demon Slayer manga is perfect, absolutely perfect. And like it really is a 1-to-1 adaptation.
Yeah, it does read really nice. Yeah,
and in something that was both in the manga that I was worried was going to be left out of the anime adaptation was the sense where like after Tengen like almost dies and is now a cripple and has to retire from being a Hashira, the serpent pillar just shows up and he's like, oh, if I was here I could have beat him. You only beat Upper Moon 5? You're such a pussy, Tengen.
But then again, like these story-changing fights happening overnight.
Yeah,
because
it was one night.
Exactly.
It was one night.
Because they can't be fighting 2-3 days like in Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? Or months. You know, these things happen overnight. Yeah, dog, you weren't here because it was overnight.
We called for you 8 hours ago.
We
Where were you?
Yeah, we sent the birds, and then you still talking trash. It should have been like, oh, sorry I wasn't here earlier.
Yep.
You know, I could have helped you. No, it's like, you pussy.
I honestly, I hate the Serpent Hashira. And like, it got me really excited.
It's a male tsundere.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the next season too because it's gonna be the what's it called? The Swordsmith Village arc. Mm-hmm. Like the village, the guys with the masks that make the special Demon Slayer swords. Mm-hmm. They have a whole village that they live in. It's just a whole arc about the Upper Moon demons invading there.
Oh shit!
So it's except this time it's the Love Pillar and the Mist Pillar. So real neat. Real good stuff. And like again, like the joke we kept saying during this episode, the Entertainment District arc episode was that like Demon Slayer is the only thing that like the only work like period, I'm not just talking anime, that can like literally every villain you feel for. Mm-hmm. Like there's not one villain in Demon Slayer where there's like a whole episode about their backstory and it's not like, I'm not really evil, I just wanted to protect my sister, so I had to become a demon and take the Upper Moon 2 demon's blood so that like we could become one Upper Moon demon together, and I just did it because like my sister was really hot, but then she was also sold into sex slavery and I protected her in sex slavery, but then as a prostitute a samurai cut her and harmed her, so I burnt the shit. I cut his eye out and that he burnt my sister in the middle of the street. These all sound like valid things. If somebody just like burnt my sister in the middle of the street, I'd probably kill him too.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, love Demon Slayer. Absolutely love Demon Slayer. I don't even know where we're at right now.
But yes, Demon Slayer Season 2 entertainment arc. It is beautiful. I feel like if you want to judge Demon Slayer by anything, it's that arc.
Oh no, absolutely! It's my favorite arc of the manga too, and that's not, and that doesn't mean anything about the rest of the manga like being bad or anything. It's just like that's so peak Demon Slayer for me. It's like how I'm trying to think of a different.
It just reminds me of like Star Wars. Like, how would you judge Star Wars? Like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Like it's like episode 2 of Star Wars. Absolutely. But with that being said, capitalist Aldo wanted to capitalize on some popular anime that was coming.
Wanted to put,
yes, it was your idea. It was literally your idea.
Oh, yes.
You came at me and you were like, "Hey, Spy Family's not done, but the first core is done." I don't think that's how you put it, but that's essentially what happened. And I know you and Karen have watched Spy Family. Let's watch it. Let's talk about it together. So we brought Karen, and we talked about Spy Family Part 1, Season 1, and it's good. It's real cute. You know what I mean? Like I love Spy Family. I watch it every week.
It's such a lift up from these like action shonen. You know what I'm saying?
It's a gag. It is a shonen. Like it's even like published in Shonen Jump magazine and everything. But it's a gag. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of jokes. It's just like.
But is that your dog?
Yeah, it's my dog.
But just like how Tokyo Godfathers is it's learning about yourself. It's learning about your anti-social tendencies or your over-social tendencies or your, you know what I'm saying, your past and stuff like that. It is a growth almost fucking Hallmark movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's so palatable.
Palatable.
Yes.
It's cool because it's also a shonen where the main character isn't who you originally expect. Like, it's not about Lloyd Forger. It's actually about Anya, to be honest. Like, it's about...
I feel like it's about the... and this is what I mean about, like, getting... like, doing self-analyzation or self-reflection. We have Lloyd. We have Anya. We have... Yor. But Yor is a assassin. Lloyd is a super skilled spy. Anya is a telepath orphan kid.
Right.
But that's not their value.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the value of how they grow together.
Right, but like the gag is because Anya ends up being the actual main character and she is a telepath and can read people's minds. Mm-hmm. It's just like she's the only one with the same public knowledge that like the audience has.
Correct.
So you experience the anime, the manga, whatever through Anya. Yeah, like verbatim. Like the most recent episode that came out last week that me and Karen watched, there's another female spy that's introduced, like a coworker of Lloyd's. And, like, you think she's there to do a job, and then Anya's just like, oh, my God, it's another super awesome spy lady. But then, like, once Anya starts reading her mind, there's literally a scene where she's like, my mind reading's not working. Blink, 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 rub my eyes, reset. And then it's the same thing that she's reading again from this woman, and it's that she's madly in love with Lloyd. So now there's this... other woman there's this triangle being thrown in the mix, and the only person that actually knows it is Anya again.
Yeah, and right now, like you said, like Anya works like as a Deadpool to the audience.
Yeah. She's very meta. It's meta, but only with Anya on scene.
Mm-hmm. And nobody knows that Anya is doing this stuff.
Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows. Well, as of this point, I haven't seen it. I don't know how the manga goes, but like...
Me neither. It's really good, though.
Yeah.
You fucking cosplayed the shit out of it in Halloween.
For Halloween.
That shit was nice.
I bought a green suit and everything.
But like a suit.
Yeah.
You didn't buy like a spirit.
It was neat. I liked the I thought about buying like one of those $60 Amazon like costume suits. But I was like, for what? It's gonna be made out of fucking plastic, and then I'm gonna throw it away after a week.
Yeah. No, that shit was really awesome.
You want to talk about Digimon Adventure?
Well, I wish I had more to talk about Spy Family.
It's because it was one core. It's not even the full season. We'll have more to talk about once we get back to it.
Yeah, and it has all these. Well, at least for me, I'm a very big like 007 fan, and
I love James Bond.
and not just like the Daniel Craig, you know, like past 007s, and it just feels awesome to me. You know, it just feels. I don't know. It hits home.
No, I got you. I got you completely.
Digimon, on the other hand, I grew up with this shit at my home. I allowed it in my house.
Digimon Adventure in 1999. We were supposed to have Roby Cantella in for this episode, but scheduling conflict, something came up on his part, and we ended up...
he didn't have a cat sitter.
No, his dad was... something was going on with his dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something was going on with his dad.
Sorry, Roby.
But we watched it on our own. It was a recommendation. We do really take all recommendations into consideration. Like, we don't just say that every episode. So, like, even just Roby saying it, we probably would have done it at a certain point. Mm-hmm. And, like, so it's the original Digimon Adventure in 1999. It's way worse than you remember. Like, if I can be completely honest, it is way, way worse than you remember it being.
Yeah. Man. Even the plot seems very commercially written, or how would I say?
It has this really 90s way of writing
narrative
where it just has this
to push.
It has this 90s writing where they just name like pop culture icons at the time, and like that's supposed to be good writing. Like that's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It almost reminds you of like a Monster of the Week, kind of like JoJo's. You know what I'm saying?
It's literally what it is.
But it's worse than Power Rangers.
I don't know. Maybe if we went back to the original Power Rangers, I don't know if we think it was good.
You know, it might be just par with it. You know what I'm saying? But Digimon
Bad.
Adventure 1999, pretty bad.
Pretty bad. I don't want to talk about Digimon anymore.
No, okay.
But we did have our third episode about a UFO table work. And I had the idea. I came at you with this one, especially after Digimon Adventure. I was like, God, give me anything good. Like something I know that's already going to be a hit, something Aldo's going to like, something we can have a good conversation about. And I think I got this idea from the Demon Slayer episode because I was going through UFO Table. I was like, what was UFO Table's big first hit? What was their big breakthrough? And it was their adaptation. It was their 2011 adaptation of the 2006 Fate Zero anime, but a prequel to it. No. The original 2006 anime for the Fate series was 2006's Fate Stay Night, which was pretty bad. It was really bad. So then Fate Zero is a prequel to that came out in 2011 because UFO Table also produced the sequel to Fate Zero, which is the readaptation of the 2006 original, which is Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. So we watched the prequel, the first UFO Table big hit, which was Fate Zero, and we had CJ in on it. And it's what'd you think?
I remember thinking it reminded me of Code Geass, but in a better way. Cause here,
Aldo hates Code Geass.
Cause here, dude, they fucking potato sack you with 20 characters. But guess what? Every single one of them gets fucking fleshed the fuck out.
Yep.
You know, and they all almost interconnect towards the end. But the end, to me at least, is where they drop the ball a little bit. Cause the end is everybody lost.
It is 2 seasons. It is 2 seasons, which is kind of. It kind of hurts because it's not even cores of 1 season. It's literally 2 seasons of Fate Zero. And the first season is an entire prequel to the actual big hitting shonen energy blasts and Sakuga energy explosions and stuff like that. Historical figures. All the cool stuff happens in season 2. All of season 1 of Fate Zero is just introducing you to the characters, getting you used to the story. The Fate series is a oh god, what's the word for it? It's a mobile game. It's a gacha game. Thank you, me. Where
I knew you were waiting for me, but I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's an adaptation of a gacha game, and it's really, really good because if the idea of the story is that if we just live in a modern wizard society where people have the resources to summon Jeanne d'Arc and Alexander the Great and other historical figures like that, how cool would it be if they just fought with magic? It's such a dumb premise that it's good. It's so dumb it's good.
But then not only magic, but it feels like Digimon because you are selecting your fighter. You have control over him.
Yes.
He is looking out for your interest alone and not itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Fate Zero is a better Digimon. You know? Because it feels like you're playing Risk.
Go, Jeanne d'Arc, battle!
Yeah, exactly. It feels like you're playing Jesus Christ somewhere. Turn all their water into wine. That way everybody's drunk so they can't fight.
Muhammad, attack!
Yeah, exactly. But Fate Zero definitely. I really hate talking about Code Geass, but Code Geass had what it needed, but it's just like our conversation in that anime, the other anime that we recently watched. I'm sorry. It was the 86.
Oh.
You know, it had all the right components to be
Oh,
something
but
that
it
we
like
like.
just didn't hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, and that's what I can compare it to.
I do think we will get to the sequel at a certain point, which would be Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and that one like is really it. That one's better if you like Fate Zero. Like standalone projects, Fate Zero is 100% better. Like it's not, it's no question. But like if you are invested with the children that were introduced in Fate Zero, watching them as teenagers deal with the consequences of all the adults in Fate Zero is really, really cool. And it's the same thing.
That sounds great.
It's the same thing though, but it's magical battles with historical figures, which is even neater. So it's just like, yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like, as far as nerds goes, we are excited about seeing stuff like that.
No,
You know?
oh my god, I'm just remembering that there was like a 4-week period where we had nothing but of guests, and 3 of those 4 episodes included CJ. So that's the first of those. The second one was, you want to talk about One Punch Man. You talked about it all the time. You like One Punch Man. Everyone loves One Punch Man, right? We had talked about One Punch Man season 1 in like season 2 of Between Nerds podcast, like a whole like 2 years ago, something like that. But we had never watched season 2. I had never watched season 2, and CJ had, and he was geeking about it. And like, because it was a user recommendation, we talked about it because it's CJ. You know what I mean? And it was bad. It was real bad. And I feel like I had to come in here on my high horse and like talk CJ down from like just the name One Punch Man will have nerds like ready to defend it. You not as much so with CJ on like the bandwagon. Like you talk about anime every week objectively. So you were a lot more like willing, like, hey, the animation was bad here, the voice acting was bad here, they could have done this differently. I was on a mission to shit on this side of the table. I was on a mission to shit on One Punch Man.
Gloomy and dark.
Yeah, it's just like
stormy.
Exactly. It was just like trying to be fair towards the work, like on this side of the table. Me, I was on a mission. I was like vehemently upset over the quality of One Punch Man season 2.
And we probably never noticed this trope before this conversation, but we even talk about it as a term. Like we talk about, like they Saitama him. They One Punch Man a character.
They remove him from the story because he's too strong.
Correct. And that was, don't get me wrong, it's a good writing strategy if you can like effectively like write it. Like if the execution is good, yes, you can One Punch Man a character into the background.
Right.
They do Goku with his heart illness. We never thought about it until we talked about One Punch Man season 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We even talked about it about like Made in Abyss with our character that they removed from the story. I can't remember her name. It slipped my mind, but in One Punch Man, it just feels like a drag because they never forget to mention to you that he's trying to get to the fight, but he never gets there.
That's supposed to be the gag, but it's not funny after a while. Because like we talked about both seasons at once, right? So like at the forefront, I was honest. I was like, dude, season 1's amazing. What the fuck do you want me to say about season 1 of One Punch Man? But then like as soon as like we started recording, like I just started just digging into season 2. Like I almost felt bad because I didn't like CJ was so excited to talk about season 1 of One Punch Man because it's fucking season 1 of One Punch Man. It's amazing, right? Studio Madhouse. Like, what are you talking about? But like, I just had like this chip on my shoulder. I was just like, it's mean, it's evil what they did to season 2 of One Punch Man, and I just couldn't like let it slide. Like, I held a grudge.
Well, there was a lot. There was a lot of talk about their trailer for season 2.
Right.
They were like, "This is it."
So they're currently starting the press run for season 3. All they've released is that it's going to be a different studio. We don't even know who the studio is. All we know is that like One Punch Man season 2 was so ill received that the owners of the One Punch Man manga is just like, hey guys, don't worry. Like we have no idea who's even going to be producing it yet, but just it won't be those last guys.
I think I heard that one is making another manga.
Yes, one is making another manga, but he's not drawing it.
Okay.
There's another third-party drawer that's going to be drawing it. It's a battle shonen. It's like a tournament kind of thing, is my understanding. Okay. I don't know anything besides that, though.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And VNA. We had VNA back for... So this is the other episode I was talking about where we talked about Hunter x Hunter Greed Island.
We did get some Discord on YouTube.
We did? On Greed Island? I don't even remember.
Remember? One of our nerds was like, the dad didn't make Greed Island for Gon, but like it says that like maybe 10 times throughout like the season, and even now in Chimera Ant, like at the beginning, it's like your dad made that video game for you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's like one of the first thing Kite says.
Yeah. I know who you are. Your dad made Greed Island for you.
Greed Island's so cool though because it's like Magic the Gathering, but in Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah,
and the fact that it's not like a big reveal, but it's like the Nen is so strong in this island. You're not in a digital world.
Yeah,
this is an island.
Yeah,
who Jin's Nen? It's been Jin's Nen. It's constantly like changing this island. Yep. Ecosystem and environment and stuff. And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
And like, I think this is really apt, like as a pre-discussion like to hockey. Next week's episode. Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right because like I think it's even crazier because in the last season of the anime for Hunter x Hunter, once they're doing the election arc, whatever the fuck it's called, like Jing. We've basically just been following like his accolades throughout the whole. Yeah, the breadcrumbs, but like badass breadcrumbs. Like we've just been following all the amazing things Jing's been doing. Gon thinks like his dad's this crazy, accomplished, super awesome hunter, but then the election arc starts and it's just like, dude, he's like the 4th or 5th best hunter in the world. Like he's not even number 1 like we've been led to believe this entire time. And like once that happens, that's like the only value like the election arc has is just like putting the world back into context. Because we spent this whole time with the Chimera Ants and like following Jing. The Chimera Ants are so strong; they have to be the strongest animals in the world. Jing is so strong; he has to be the best hunter in the world. But then like the election arc starts, it's like, oh. As far as like the ants were concerned, they're probably like a B+ fill-in. As far as Jing's concerned, like there's this top 10 like animal-based hunter group. He's like number 4 or 5,
and it makes sense. Like, why would you make Goku the toughest motherfucker for 60 seasons in a fucking row?
I think that's the issue with Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the issue with Dragon Ball.
What I'm saying? If you were able to reel it back and put some context into the world again, that'll be cool. Which I feel like you were talking about this the 2 episodes ago or an episode ago. You know, the mangaka is starting to write Goten and Trunks plot lines, and I'm excited, but not right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Until I see it, I'll believe it.
No, absolutely. I think this next episode was also my idea because, like, I felt bad after just digging into One Punch Man so hard. But I know One as a mangaka is, like, really accomplished and good. And, like, I love his work. So I was like, here, I'll throw... Even though, like, he's never going to watch this or listen to this, but I'll throw One a bone, and, like, we'll talk about Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, which I'd already seen, so I already knew it was good. But, like I brought you in on this redemption tour for One, and like Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 is even better than Mob Psycho 100 Season 1. It's almost as good as One Punch Man Season 1. And it's just like, God, it's just like, what if this socially inept group, like, it was just one of them is a 12-year-old who's the most powerful Esper in the world, but like it's not even about that. Like One Punch Man is just always about like big people, big powers, big fish king man, big Genos robot thing. Mob Psycho 100 isn't even about like the big Esper battles. It's actually about like learning through this socially inept child what it means to be an adult and actually empathetic adult.
And I feel like you see this trope more in like American movies, like this buddy thing, you know, like
Oh, the buddy cop?
yeah. So 21 Jump Street, Jonah Hill.
I'm Jonah Hill.
Shannon Tatum. No, not you, but like I'm saying, you know, like shit like that, or any other like buddy cop. You know what I'm saying? Like it is a Mob Psycho came after One Punch Man, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is a very good decision of splitting your main character in One Punch Man in two personalities. It just feels like if Mob's master? John.
Oh god, it's something obvious too. It's like there's like a meme about his name, and now I can't even remember.
Anyways, it seems like their personalities it's split into two. Like if he had the powers of Mob, he would be One Punch Man. If Mob had the personality of his master, he would be One Punch Man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it is great.
Rengen.
It just seems like a very good strategy.
Reagan.
Of splitting out that personality of One Punch Man.
Yeah, but like I brought it up during the episode. I think I almost cried when discussing it because like the especially when I read this quote, like the director of Mob Psycho 100 season 2, the whole reason he agreed to direct this anime was because he had already read the manga, and it's one singular scene where Reagan is like essentially like air quotes canceled, kind of like he's flamed on the internet. He's seen as like a fake, a phony, and like he's not gonna get any business. He might need a new line of work. And there's a scene where Mob meets him at the river, and they're talking. I can't remember the exact quote right now, but the gist is that Reagan kind of tries to ask Mob, like, why did you follow me? Like, why did you want to work for me? And because he figures that Mob's smart enough to realize that he was a fake, especially if Mob is like the best esper in the world. And I can't remember the quote, but Mob essentially says, because like my master's a great guy. And it's just like it's this very simple dialogue from a very mentally simple character, but it's so earnest and like so empathetic without being empathetic. It's so like real. It's so like
especially after this spiral down and this climb up from Reagan, you know, that he does. He's so pissed at the media making fun of him, and he's so pissed at Mob. He's like, oh, that kid's never gonna do anything without me, and he tells him, and then now he's getting, you know, stepped on by the community and stuff. And then there's a redemption arc that you're talking about. He's like, you know what? I'm stepping away from that. I'm just going to help this old lady to her groceries. I'm gonna help this homeless guy over here. I'm going to do good things. Not for the selfish fact to feel better about yourself, but because he feels like he needs to do better for the people around him, unlike he did with Mob.
Right.
So that realization that he just barely had, that he is a good guy, coming from the person that he stepped on himself, being like, you know why I helped you? Because you're a cool dude. And it just hits home. I'm getting teary.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to like.
And it's a great conversation, man. I saw a fucking TikTok,
and then the animation is just like stupendous. Like Studio Bones is like you can tell what Studio Bones' like favorite anime is because like the gripe right now, Studio Bones also produces the My Hero Academia anime, and people are livid with the current adaptation of the season because like some of the most high profile fights to ever happen in the manga, they've completely like whitewashed a little bit, and like they look really dull and terrible and stupid, and like I don't think the My Hero anime's been good since the Overdrive fight, if I'm being completely honest. I haven't really liked the anime since the Overdrive fight.
Somebody asked me, she's like, should I watch My Hero Academia? And I'm like,
First 2 seasons.
I'm like, yes, but don't
First 2 seasons.
don't hang on to that. But anyways, for as far as Mob Psycho goes, the last thing I wanted to say is that after going through a montage that it's probably 5 minutes long, but as far as if you see it in context of what a person goes through and trying to reaffirm yourself that you're a good person, and having the one person who you treated wrong to tell you that you're a good person, it's the bow in the season.
You haven't used that term in a while. You used to use it every episode. Tying a bow on something. Yeah.
Bows are cute. I love bows.
But before we spend an entire episode talking about Mob Psycho 100, I think we should move on a little bit. CJ, again, friend of the podcast, most featured guest on the podcast.
Yes.
He, this one was also my bad. I'll take blame for this one. For maybe 8 months.
You're bad.
Yeah, for maybe 8 months straight, he had been not pestering. That's a mean way of putting it. He had been recommending.
Bugging.
He had been adamantly recommending a work that he had already finished that was getting rave reviews, and I'll take blame for this. I kind of blew him off because we were busy recording other episodes. We kind of forgot. But I'm glad he reeled us back into it. So episode 1111, angel numbers. There you go. We watched Ranking of Kings.
Yeah, Ranking of Kings.
Amazing. This might be top 4 of season 4 of Between Nerds podcast.
Absolutely. The animation, taking you back to 90s animation, taking you back to 80s animation.
Like imagine if 90s animation actually had crisp lines and colors.
or a good plot. You know what I'm saying? Ranking of Kings, it felt... Remember when we started watching The Girl Who Lived Through Time, and I told you oh my god, this animation is so relaxing because I'm not overstimulated by rays and fighting scenes, and
that's kind of how Ranking of Kings is.
And Ranking of Kings sits you down and tells you, hey, you're about to follow this death mute prince,
yes,
who is laughed at. He's the laugh of town, you know. But it's not as destructive as Made in Abyss. It is humble. It is wholesome. I'm sorry, not humble. It is wholesome at some points, you know, unlike Made in Abyss.
Yeah, I've never described any part of Made in Abyss as wholesome.
Exactly. And just seeing...
It's in they held all of the shonen type Sakuga style animation for the very end. Because, if the premise of the story is... what was I thinking about this? I was thinking about... I think me and Karen were having a conversation about, how kingdoms happened, maybe. And, how, succession used to happen. Because I think we were talking about... no. I think I was having a conversation with myself... over a conversation me and you had while watching the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, because we were having a conversation about succession in medieval times, and because I've already read all of the books, even all the side books for the Song of Ice and Fire series. I was just filling in knowledge gaps here and there, why don't they want a woman to be queen? Why can't little things about succession, because it's the Game of Thrones. It's the game for the succession for the throne. Yeah, it's a political game. It's not even about the fantastical elements. It's about the political game. And I think I was thinking about our conversation, and I was having a conversation with myself later on, and thinking about succession and what it meant to why would people put so much weight into somebody's kid being the next ruler of the country? Because Ranking of Kings shows that point where it's just dude, your dad was literally the strongest person in the world, and he was so strong, so powerful, beat every other king in the world, that we established a kingdom just off the back of his strength.
And not only that, but once this weight it's put on this miniature giant of a character.
What's his name?
Fuck, you got me there.
Bone? It's something with a B, right? It's something like boom, bomb, boom.
Something like that. But once this weight is put up upon him and learning how his dad got all this strength, it's angering. It's like, dude, like the king was a piece of shit. Maybe just like every other king we know, like in history.
The dad sold his son's strength to a demon.
So what we learn to see of this cuddly miniature character and full of love and full of understanding. Boji. And Boji is it's gone. He is the being of this world. He doesn't mind that people are laughing at him. He doesn't even understand why the people are laughing at him. Not from a stupid point of view, but he's like
he knew they were laughing at him.
No, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't know why they were laughing at him.
Yes, they did.
Hold on. But not from a stupid point of view. He didn't know that why they were laughing at him, because he didn't understand why they were making fun of him. Because
yes, he did.
I
think the point you're trying to make is that like it's not like he was deaf, dumb, and blind. He was just he was just like a mute and like couldn't hear properly, but he could read lips properly enough that he could understand that people were laughing at him. He did understand that they were laughing at him, not with him.
Correct.
That was a late season revelation that like no, Boji let them disrespect him. He didn't care.
Yeah,
like he was just so like, dude, like I like.
Just watch, kind of.
Yes. I'll prove myself, bro. Like it's like this happened to me a couple times at the rec center in college. Like somebody walks onto the basketball court and like they don't try to hype themselves up. Like, hey, do you want to play this pickup game with us? We need one more player. Yeah, whatever, bro. I'll help you out. He just ends up just balling out on everybody. You know what I mean? And that's kind of Boji. Just like, watch me. Like, I don't gotta brag. I don't gotta be. Don't have a braggadocious bone in my body. Watch me just ball out and just like flex on you real quick.
Yeah, but and then even against the realizations that Boji has about his father, about his mother, about his stepmom, about his stepbrother, and his stepmom, Healing, whatever her name is.
Yeah, it's Helia or something.
Yeah, because she heals.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like just her stepmother, like caring so much for him. Oh, dude.
That's what's so good writing about is because like it's obviously it's a Japanese mangaka.
Yeah, it brings your Cinderella stepsisters into like the main character.
It plays with your preconceived notions about like writing tropes, which is amazing. I love that so much because it's like it's a Japanese mangaka writing off of like 19th century Cinderella story Cinderella story
Of course, the stepmother's gonna be a bitch.
Yeah, of course your stepbrother fucking hates you and is trying to steal the crown from you, like, or your half brother, excuse me. Like, of course they do. Of course they fucking hate you. And then the more the anime goes on, it's just like, oh my god, like she would have killed her. She would have let herself die for her stepson. She loved that deaf, dumb, blind little so much. She had
to chuck fucking like mana potion.
Mana juice, like just ODing on mana poison to try to save Boji.
And then the story with a 3-headed serpent.
I don't care if he's my stepson. That's my fucking boy. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, dude. And the way Boji learned to love his stepmom, even he didn't know that he learned to love his stepmom. It was just...
But it was always there. Like, we are relearning his memories with him. And it's just like, dude, my stepmom always was there with me, wasn't she? Like,
she's a day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then an entire redemption arc coming from the brother, from the half brother, being like, oh shit, I did fuck up stealing my brother's crown, didn't I?
But he did realize before he got caged up in the consciousness of
everyone that wronged Boji
turns around.
Yeah, they all at a certain point they were like, holy shit, like Boji's the best of us. Yeah. He's the best of us, real.
And then him getting his travel character design at the end of the season because he's upped into another adventure.
Love that. Hopefully we get a season 2 of Ranking of Kings because it's a Crunchyroll original. Yeah. So like it only needs to reach a certain threshold to be considered profitable because Crunchyroll's pocketing all the profit. They're not sharing it with anybody else, right? And like there was a good amount of discourse around Ranking of Kings, and like the reviews for it are stupendous. So like at a certain point, it's just like the only thing that might mess it up is the merger with Funimation, because I don't know if Crunchyroll is still producing originals since the merger.
I'm sure Funimation's gonna pick up on all that.
Yeah, it's a money making cow. Like it's a cash cow. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So we go from that to something that, again, I pressured you into because I was on this book buying spree. And one of the most popular light novel series is called 8686. And the anime is bad.
You wanted to watch it to solidify your decision.
Right. I was like, I'm thinking about buying the first couple light novels to this series, 8686. Can we watch it just so that, like, you know, in our free time, we don't get a whole... So much of... our time is spent watching whatever we're going to talk about to that week. It's hard to venture out of that. And I was like, I don't have time to watch 25 episodes of this different anime based off of the light novel. Although, can we just watch it so I can know if, like, whether or not I'm going to waste my money buying this light novel series?
It's a great use of having your own podcast.
Yeah, but like, I'm glad we watched it because it's a bad anime. It's a real bad anime.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, the mecha character designs, the mecha designs are interesting.
Okay.
Are good. It just feels like... So if technology takes from anything, it takes from nature to better itself. So it just feels like a better tank would be an insect-like vessel that you can move to terrain.
I wish you had had this many proclivities when it came to giving the benefit of the doubt to Lelouch the Rebellion, and
but see, Lelouch the Rebellion is just Gundams.
But see, you're speaking about something that you don't like so eloquently. Like, you're giving it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. You're like, look, this is what it does well. It's taken from, like, that's a really good point that you didn't even bring up in episode, right? That's like an Aldo Mendez original as of right now, like, kind of thing.
Because the mechas used here are based on scorpions, on spiders, on different bugs, you know, of grasshoppers and stuff like that.
Yep.
So it just feels like that's what futuristic war would look like.
Yeah, why not?
You know,
like a lot of like amputees and like they're doing that a little bit right now. Like, especially when it comes to like exoskeleton technology, it's just like, nature's already solved this like tens of millions of years ago. Like, let's model our current technology off of that a little bit.
We need backwards bending knees to work better.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. But like 8686 as an anime adaptation, I don't know what it does wrong, because it kind of just does everything wrong. Like, as far as the story is concerned,
it graces World War II tropes. It graces
child soldiers.
It graces Holocausty. Genocide. Yeah. You know, the separation of human beings, like, as a species and a lesser species, like.
Yep.
You know, so.
Yep.
It has a great, like, female protagonist, I would say. Like, it does feel like she's learning not to be racist.
When the Aryan learns that Jewish people are people.
But actively, like, she actively makes micro racist aggressions towards her troop, and the troop is like, yo, dog, like, you don't say that.
Stop right now.
Exactly. She's like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, that's how human being learns.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You get pointed out on your mistakes. You're like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, I did that wrongly. I did not know any better before that. Now I know.
Absolutely.
Which is good for her character.
Yes.
But, like, I talked about this with Bubble. We have all the right ingredients for the Powerpuff Girls, but we did not get Powerpuff Girls.
We didn't accidentally drop the
chemical X.
The chemical X in there. Yeah. Just missing that, like, it might be the director's fault. It's because, like, my understanding, there's like 12, 13 volumes of the light novel that go twice as long past, like, the what the anime adapts, like, but they completely fucked it up. So I don't know if that's the director's fault. I don't know if that's, like, some of the writers' faults. I don't know.
And you know, I like dark shit. And, like, I feel like the darkest shit here in 8686 is like, I'm gonna fucking steal the heads of opponent soldiers
Mm-hmm.
to make my robots better because they have the knowledge of their brains and
Oh
their
yeah,
memories.
like
shit.
if the hive mind, like you can never exterminate them because the more people you throw at them to try to exterminate the hive mind,
We're just gonna steal heads all the time.
yeah, we're just gonna like adapt them into our army anyways.
Yeah, and that's why this guy's blowing fucking heads up like everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's gritty, but it doesn't turn gritty enough, at least for me.
It also has one of these like character tropes that I absolutely hate, which is like a nerd
Misunderstood.
Yeah, the misunderstood badass. Like if like I'm so good and smart and like secretly talented at everything. If only the hot girl with white hair would learn who I really am, then like she would like want to be with me forever. And like that's how nerds think, and that's why they need to go touch grass because they're fucking losers. And like I hate character writing like that.
Yeah. And like I said, it has all the... Even our description, the nerds find the perfect recipe but are left with a bad taste.
Yeah, you wrote that.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to your writing.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I just talk about how like hilarious my YouTube title for that one is? A white-haired fascist with a heart of gold.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes... Have you heard the story of that one black man who like talks to KKK members and like makes them their friend and stuff like that and makes
Kanye
them...
West?
No. It's just some country black guy who like tries to befriend racists and like tries to have conversation with racists just to like eliminate their value in the racist movement. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, it just feels like a racist learning not to be racist.
Yeah, it's the whole anime, but like it and it's long too. It's so long.
Oh yeah,
it's like 25, 26 episodes or something,
and
it
feels like 40.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I'm just glad that we go from 86 to watching what was our biggest viral sensation in terms of clips at the time, which was our discussion of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. What is there to say about Jujutsu Kaisen? This felt like my redemption arc because like I go from hearing you absolutely shit on Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 just being like, well, although I think it's good, I think it's real nice. Like, please be nice to Jujutsu Kaisen. In our season 3 discussion of Jujutsu Kaisen season 1, and then forcing you to watch Bleach season 1 and being like, oh, okay, maybe you were right, Drew. And then like we actually watched Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is like this stupendously animated like feature-length film about the Jujutsu Kaisen franchise.
Well, and the thing that solidified my appreciation for Jujutsu Kaisen is watching Bleach. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like Bleach had the same pace as the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, which it didn't.
No.
Jujutsu Kaisen's first season, it's perfect in the most like technical like way of like
the way
storytelling.
The way your nostalgia memory brain worked, like you considered the first like 3 seasons of Bleach to be one season, kind of like one 24 episode season, which is not true because it's like 60 episodes.
Yeah,
Jujutsu Kaisen accomplishes the same like feeling that those 60 episodes of Bleach accomplishes in 24 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching Jujutsu Kaisen 0, although
it's a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel. Although it has a very weird pacing as far as like the confrontation with our villain and then the fight.
I've never
It's weird.
I've never agreed with that interpretation, but you say it so often, like maybe I think I'm wrong, and I don't know.
What do you mean? Like
I've never felt like the pacing's weird in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I think it's perfectly paced, if anything, because it almost like the original introduction of the villain. You're right, the villain's introduced very early, but it feels like very obvious foreshadowing, because foreshadowing isn't. It's not
tangible.
No, it's not tactful. Like it's not
Tactful. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there. It feels like in
foreshadowing is like One Piece foreshadowing.
Well, it feels like in modern writing, foreshadowing isn't like it's so obvious. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that guy's gonna be the villain later on.
You know what it felt like for me? Now that I think about it, it just feels like Cell waiting at the tournament square for a season and a half.
I could see that, but like Dragon Ball's writing is so just like you know, nail and hammer.
Yeah.
It's so obvious and just easy that like Jujutsu Kaisen 0, it's just like, hey man, here's this new S-grade Jujutsu sorcerer, and he's just gonna learn the ropes, but then like we're gonna elude Maki, and like, which is fine.
And that's not my issue. My issue is that, okay, yes, we have an introduction to a new prisoner, a new probation student.
One of Gojo's little projects, his little pet projects.
Exactly. We see a montage of training. We obviously have our female, eye candy.
Everyone loved Maki after the movie.
Yeah, but then there's a weird like pacing where we meet our villain, and it just felt weird that they hesitated that fight. Why did anybody just throw a punch there? Like when they,
which fight are we talking about?
When the antagonist walks up to the school floors and they meet him like at the bridge.
Oh, when he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fight you guys in like 3 days."
Exactly. Like, why did that happen? Why wasn't it like, hands up, let's square up, let's fight? You know what I'm saying? Because it just feels. It doesn't even feel like a mind game.
I think it was not explicitly said like then, but like maybe later on in like later seasons, is that it's because he was a previous student, number one, and he's also the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer's best friend. Like, Gojo didn't want him to die.
Yes, but then again, he didn't hesitate to almost want to kill Goyo.
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like,
if anything, he survived. Right?
I like that. I like that writing because, like, it's like, that's my best friend from high school, man. Like, we're all almost 40, and like I don't want to believe
fight you at your house.
I don't want to believe he's evil. Like, that's my boy. I've known him for forever. Like, yeah, he's done some fucked up shit recently, but he's redeemable, right? No, he was never redeemable.
Well, he's been exercising fucking demons and eating them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's apt because, like, he's probably the weakest of the S-class Jujutsu sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen canon, which I haven't read any of the manga. Like, if I'm completely wrong, I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. But, like, he's an S-class sorcerer only because he can, like, absorb the power of any curse.
But then his biggest strength becomes his greatest weakness.
Right. So it's like, if I don't have access to that curse, then I'm not as good as like my upwards potential, as opposed to everybody else. That's like it's a self-made power kind of.
And what really sticks Jujutsu Kaisen 0 to me, what the gum under the table for this plot, it's the undying love you have for your middle school girlfriend.
Utah. She was elementary school. You're like fourth grade girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Utah.
And that's what ties this guilt trip on what's our protagonist's name?
Utah.
Well, who's the...
Rika.
Rika.
Rika's the curse, Utah's the guy.
That's right. So, like, this constant pain that our protagonist is going through just for the end to be like, hey dude, like, you didn't curse, like,
you're not cursed by her, you accidentally cursed her.
Yeah.
You've been accidentally torturing her for the past decade by turning her into a curse.
Exactly, that's what I meant.
But you didn't do it selfishly. Like, you loved her so much as like your friend that like you were just like, dude, don't die. You just got run over by a car. Don't fucking die right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Gojo's explanation is like, dude, I know you feel like shit right now, but like,
you're such an empath.
Yeah, you're just such an empath, and you're connected to my family that you didn't even realize you were abacadabring this fucking bitch on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, you thought you were being cursed by her. You cursed her, and then she was cursing you back. So it's like this feedback loop that you started, though.
Yeah, and because he put on the curse on her, he had the control over her when he thought she was being not in control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if Utah tells Rika, like, hey, don't kill this person, please, like, she'll be like, okay, thank you.
Right. It reminds me of it kind of reminds me of some of the Nen powers in Hunter x Hunter a little bit, because like Rika's so powerful in Jujutsu Kaisen 0 because she is the personification of his like endless like curse power a little bit, even though he thinks that she's endless curse power and not him. So like, she's like the what's the word for it? She's like the conduit for like his endless curse power, and it reminds me of Nen a little bit because like you can have the best Nen user in the world, but his Nen like his Nen expression is limited by his conduit.
His output,
yeah, by his conduit. Like you can be the Chairman Netero in Hunter x Hunter, the best like hunter in the world. Like at one point you had the best Nen output of anybody.
Only looks old by choice.
Only looks old by choice, but like his Nen output was limited by like how he chose to express it. You know what I mean? His dedication to like Buddhism and like this Taoist principle is what limited him, because like the only reason he had that personification of Nen was because he dedicated himself to Taoism, to this naturalist aspect of this naturalist spiritualism.
Cause and effect.
Yeah, this cause and effect kind of things. Like I can only earn this unlimited power if I respect nature, and if I do so much with it. So like if I produce this giant 1,000-armed golden Buddha, it sounds broken, but that's not the unlimited 1,000,000-armed golden Buddha. But like my respect for my craft and for my spiritualism is keeping me grounded. So it's both the source of my power and the limit of my power.
It's the contract you have with your power.
Yes, yes. So Rika in Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, I'm so glad we're watching this at this time that I'm watching Hunter x Hunter. Because like, yeah, like that's his contract with himself. Just like in Hunter x Hunter. Because like, what's the guy in Hunter? Thank you. I was gonna say the guy you always confused with a woman in Hunter x Hunter, but yeah, Kurapika is like the most busted Nen user, but like he's got a very, very stringent like contract with himself.
Yeah, if you don't abide by it, you die.
Exactly, and that's what makes him so busted. And like that's kind of what Jujutsu Kaisen's about. It's just like, dude, you have like limitless curse potential, but you need that conduit. You need that contract with himself, or you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna kill everyone around you. You're never gonna be able to control it. So Rika is that contract with yourself.
And then at some point, like after talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Zero for maybe the third time now in this episode, it feels like Rika was only there unable to express to him not to feel bad about that whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she didn't know he cursed her. Like, she doesn't know that he doesn't know that he cursed her.
Right.
And she's just there to be like, dude, I'm trying to not make you feel so bad about you cursing me without having the knowledge of him cursing her.
I cannot believe people downplay the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, because this was happening a lot, like, before the Chainsaw Man manga was even announced. But, like, Chainsaw Man was, like, it was building up a lot of steam, the manga was. You know what I mean? And, like, Jujutsu Kaisen was kind of, like, in this off period. It was building up to, like, this new arc, and people were like, see, Chainsaw Man's so much better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, how can you downplay either? Just let... It's possible for two goats to live, bro. Like...
And now, this conversation in Jujutsu Kaisen Zero makes me think about, it's on the actual Jujutsu Kaisen present story, like the present plot with our protagonist. We really haven't gotten to know the exact contract with his inner curse.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you know what? It even makes the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 better, because it is not revolving around that. It's revolving around the teammates, and like the crew growth. It's
Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
It's one of one of your other similes you like to use a lot. It's a Scooby Doo adventure.
And it makes me excited to learn what this contract is going to be between his curse energy and himself.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because you're right. Because they had already, even though it was subconsciously, Rika and Yuta had already had this subconscious like contract amongst each other. In Jujutsu Kaisen, the main storyline,
there's still animosity between the two.
Itadori and oh god, I can't find the curse's name. The Megumi Fushiguro, they don't have a real understanding amongst each other yet. So like right now Yuji's kind of busted because he's like Naruto kind of, where like he's just kind of overflowing with
the Nine Tails.
It was called with the Nine Tails chakra, but like Yuji's just kind of overflowing with the finger chakra right now. So he's just kind of like he can't hone it in like he should be able to.
Yeah, which makes me excited about what the working measures are going to be with this curse.
I wish I knew when season 2 was coming out. I feel like that's really important.
Yeah, I wish I knew too.
All we know is 2023. All we know is next year. But what was your other point that like something else was coming out in the summer? You're probably right about summer 2023 for Jujutsu Kaisen 2.
I think that's what we were talking about.
Oh, is that what we were talking
about? Yeah, I think so.
God, we've already been recording for like a couple hours already.
Yeah. And but Jujutsu Kaisen overall, even just the movie's great. I like when things like
even
Game
our
of
girlfriends
Thrones,
love the movie.
I feel like I like when things like Game of Thrones know how to execute a prequel, because if anything, a prequel should be targeted to getting a broader audience to your media.
I love telling people shit like I think you're right. I think you're exactly right.
You know
because
what I'm
like people I know that don't like watch Game of Thrones because like the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones are really hard to get into because like HBO didn't know it was going to blow up like that, so it looks really low budget. It's kind of cheap. Like the actors are good, don't get me wrong, but like the set pieces are bad. Like the lighting's bad. Like just regular just production shit. Like looks really cheap and bad, and like it's hard to get into. And then you turn on House of the Dragon, and like it's production quality up to like $1 million. Like it's clearly super expensive.
Yeah.
But then like people I know that's like, oh, how am I going to watch House of the Dragon? Like I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I'm like, you don't need to. Like I love prequels for that reason. It was like, I can't watch Jujutsu Kaisen 0 because I haven't seen the main season. For what?
You don't have to.
For what? You don't have to. Yeah. Just go watch it. It's a prequel. And I love stuff like that because I had somebody tell me the other day when relating with Fate. I was like, yeah, just watch Fate Zero. It's way better animated than the original Fate Stay Night, the 2006 adaptation. And they were like, for what? I'm not gonna know what's happening. Yada yada yada. And I was like, no, Fate Zero is a prequel, and it's by a way better studio, and it's way better animated, way better written, all that stuff. Just skip the original entirely, because like there's an adaptation later that's a readaptation of the original. So yeah, I think that's a very apt point. I think you're right.
And then do you have anything else on?
No,
Zero?
I think we've almost spent too much time on Jujutsu Kaisen Zero.
Okay.
It's almost unfair to everything else on this list.
No, we can talk about some of this stuff. Interstellar, 5555. You know, the story of the secret star system.
Woo! This is
a very fun episode.
Very fun episode. The most clippable episode we've ever produced. I think that just is a testament to how great we get along with Jacob Mendeville. Because like we have 7 clips coming from this episode.
We brought it up once around him. He was like, "I'm down. Let's do it."
At his bachelor party. He brought it up at his bachelor party. Like we were at a bar, which was the pregame to his actual bachelor party, and like the Interstellar 55555 just serves as kind of like music videos to the entirety of the Daft Punk Discovery album. And I was like, oh look, I love this song, I love this music video, this is like one of my favorite ones. And Jacob was just like, what? I've never seen this. What is that anime? Is that Japanese bullshit you be watching?
He had seen it, but only his favorite songs, which most of us did back when this came out. You
just Google like
one more time
face to face
or something like that. You only watch those videos, but guess what? The entire album revolves about this little kid's imagination dream. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Which is amazing. So dialogue.
But finishing that story, he came at us being like, "Oh, can we watch that?" And like I feel like I looked at you and I blinked and I was like, "Is he asking to be on that episode?" You know what I mean? And then he was like, "Yeah, I want to be on the episode." I was like, "Absolutely, Jacob. What are you talking about? Like, if there were ever a perfect time to watch this."
No, it was great. It was great watching it. It was great listening to one of my favorite, house music producers. Man, I just wish I knew what Daft Punk's favorite animes are.
Who even knows? Who even knows, even after this, if they kept up with anime?
Who knows? Yeah.
And it's real good. Like, watch our discussion. It's just us geeking about the music a little bit. Because what's really cool about Interstellar 555...
We also had laughs about what the story is.
The story's... God, I don't want to say bad, but it is kind of bad. Like it's like it's entertaining for a music video, I guess. You know what I mean? Like if you just keep in mind it's a music video, it's not an actual like feature length like piece of art. Like you're willing to be less critical with it.
Yeah. It did have Scooby-Doo aspects to it that I pointed out. It has, it has mafia, it has bad... And honestly, I do honestly think... I did bring up Suge Knight, throughout the entire episode. I think is Daft Punk being like, the music industry is disgusting. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like at the end of the day.
Exploitation, all that. It's an exploitation film. Yeah. It's about exploitation in the music sphere.
Kids Blueface.
Love that clip. Absolutely love that clip. We watched our second Leiden Films anime for episode 115, which was Call of the Night. Barely finished. That was last season or 2 seasons ago. That was like a either a winter or a spring 2022 release. Call of the Night was. Yeah. And we watched it like a week after it ended.
Yeah, no, but it was goddamn the background panels, the background on the aesthetic, the neon aesthetic.
We love this aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like that Call of the Night aesthetic is basically what Between Nerds tries to be.
If anything, if you can see on the cup, there's a blue and a pink, and that's the entire fucking anime.
It's dope. It's so good.
And you told me the sentiment about this anime of like lurking the nights of like, the freaks come at night. The freaks are freaking out the neighborhood kind of thing.
This was also brought up during the Nerd Down last episode, where like it lulls you into it's cool that it lulls you into not thinking about it critically, which I like, because like that's a skill to make you not think about something critically and not want to pick it apart, because it's just like what you're saying. It's just like, relax, bro. It's the nighttime. Don't you want to go like out and people watch the drunks in the middle of the night? Isn't that cool? Relax.
And now that did we talk about that? This reminded me of Hani Matsuri. No, you remember when the high school girl got a job as a bartender, and she was experiencing the nightlife?
Oh, you didn't bring that up, but that's true.
Did I? I didn't.
No, you didn't bring that up.
Now that I think about it, it feels like that a small portion of Hina Matsuri like expanded on, because it does feel like a boy. It doesn't matter about like the vampire thing. It just feels like a kid like experiencing nightlife.
Yeah. And then it reminded me a lot of FLCL, because it's like his introduction to adulthood. You know what I mean?
Correct.
He desperately, annoyingly so, wants to be an adult, and that's why he's participating in the nightlife, because he thinks that's what it means to be an adult, because you get to do whatever you want. You get to fuck around all night.
His out, no parents in sight. You know what I'm saying?
And he's not even cool. He's like a nerd. Like he's not trying to like...
He hangs out at the playground.
Like he's not trying to go to like a party or nothing. Like he's not going to like... going to some rager in the middle of the night, and that's why he's breaking out of the house. Like he's just like, I just want to be an adult and be my own person and do what I want to do.
And this subtle undertones of like toxic relationships, like the one scene where they're at the pool party and she intentionally lets herself be hit on just to see what
his reaction
will be, but his reaction was just to leave.
That's toxic.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So it just... I feel like a lot of nerds take the bad out of these stories instead of like reversing it. It's like, this is not what we want you to do. Yeah.
This was also kind of like the comment we were breaking down last episode about our take on it's right here on Cyberpunk Edge Runners, about like being a victim and stuff like that, and like because like Call of the Night's kind of the same thing. It's about like a young person being introduced to adulthood too soon.
But I feel like in Call of the Night, it's more consensual than...
But a minor can't give consent, Aldo.
No, well, I know. But it feels like they are both in the same page until that toxicity happens. In Cyberpunk Edge Runners, it feels like he is always the persuasive mind. He's always the what's that word you like to use when somebody's young? and you're more
Impressionable.
He's more impressionable all the time. He's always being his emotions are always being manipulated all the time.
He's like being manipulated by how starstruck he is in Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yeah, but in Call of the Night, it feels like they at some point they have they have a common ground until she starts acting toxic and he realizes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like in Edge Runners.
Hold on, before you talk about Edge Runners, talk about Made in Abyss real quick. Hold on, you're skipping one.
Okay. Made in Abyss, season 2.
The Golden City of the Scorching Sun.
The first season and the movie feel like 2 seasons already.
Yeah.
It is devastating.
Devastating is a good word.
It is.
It's heartbreaking.
Man, it's because like the first season and the movie feel like the eclipse of Berserk.
Yeah.
And then,
but imagine a whole city of whole season of that.
But then, how do you make that worse? Like, how do you make the eclipse? How do you make the eclipse worse and make it run like 24 episodes?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I got you.
And just seeing season 2, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun, and seeing cult undertones, seeing body abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, guilt trips, seeing malnourishment, seeing survival, seeing everything you could summed up about the human society.
If you just Googled like
terrible things,
just terrible things I can throw in like in literature, like Made in Abyss season 2 is all of them, all in one, and like. We had some thoughtful conversations. We honestly did. Like, real thoughtful conversations about our interpretations. And be like, it's because you got to watch it again. Everything's up to interpretation, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah. But look, the initial interpretation you're supposed to take through your first watch through is that of like despair, of
everything's fucked all
the time. Everything's fucked all the time. Like, in subsequent watch throughs, you're supposed to take other things down, but the initial interpretation that you're supposed to take, which is the most superficial like story interpretation of Main Abyss, the City of the Scorching Sun, is just everything is absolutely terrible all the time. There's a lot of themes of sexual abuse. There's a lot of themes of mental abuse, manipulation, physical abuse. The explicit personified metaphor in the City of the Scorching Sun is that your value is inward, in that if you are not constantly supplying value to a finite capitalistic system, then they will literally strip your insides to provide value for everybody else and continue like this painstaking upward trajectory of this microeconomy.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, the second watch through, all it's doing is unsensitizing you to desensitizing you to the material that it's putting on.
Absolutely.
You. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like my energy's going down just talking about it. Like, I'm like sad just talking about it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. We talked second season up so much. We're like, we can't wait to watch second season.
Like, literally, every other episode we've talked about, like episode 90 through 112 of this podcast, like, we're just like, oh my god, we're gonna talk about Made in Abyss. We're gonna talk about Made in Abyss. I can't wait. It's so sad, but it's so sad in a good way. Blah 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 blah.
Because it had us on this grip that things are gonna get better, but god damn, they don't. Jesus, like Guts and Berserk has it way better than this motherfucker's dog. Even though he's been fighting demons for the past like 200 chapters, like, it's ridiculous.
I think it is a testament to good writing, because it's like what you said in the beginning of like this Made in Abyss discussion, where it's like, how could it get worse? Like, me and my normal person brain, I could never picture things getting worse. But like somebody with like an actual genuine imagination and good writing skills made it worse. Easily. It like, that's a testament to good writing, but at the same time, like, bro, it got worse.
Like, if Made in Abyss, I hope there isn't. But if Made in Abyss has any fan-made fiction,
Oh,
these
God.
fuckers are sick.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Sick in the head.
Yeah, because you cannot get any worse than that.
I can't even imagine what season 3 is going to be like.
And I feel like out of the two of us, I'm more welcoming to these kinds of writings.
You have like darker humor than I do.
You know what I'm saying? So, but no. Made in Abyss is not. It did not tickle my pickle at all.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
It didn't grippy your glizzy?
Yeah, it didn't grippy my glizzy.
Jesus Christ.
Cyberpunk?
Okay, yeah, talk about Edge Runners now. You were going off on Edge Runners a little bit,
Yeah,
and then I cut you off.
Call of the Night.
Most Hispanic representation in anime we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's an anime about cellos. That's what my title says.
Besides Chad in Bleach.
Yeah.
know?
Well, that's one. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Everybody's a Hispanic in this one.
But like I was talking about Call of the Night. I know minors cannot give consent, but our minor character here seems to have a common ground with our quote unquote predator, you know? But here, even towards the end of the anime, he tricked himself into thinking that all he was doing was for her when she didn't want any of those things to happen, which feels like atrocious, because I'm sure you've been in the spot where you're trying to do better by somebody else, but you're
that aspect reminds me of like mob films a little bit, like, or not even mob films. Did you ever watch like Coming to America or no, maybe not Coming
Eddie
to
Murphy.
America. No, not Coming to America. I'm thinking of
Rush Hour?
No. More Hispanic. I'm thinking of the 3-hour one about Vatos Locos and
Blood In, Blood Out.
Blood In, Blood Out. What's the other like movie about like cholo gangs that came out around the same time?
American Me.
Yes, American Me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, like, it reminds me of that a little bit. Like, people that got sucked into like this gang warfare, gang lifestyle, like kind of for a girl, also kind of to prove themselves as an air quotes man, and then just kind of like failed at both, and then just like fucked over their lives a little bit. Like that is kind of like the same concept there and here.
On Cyberpunk, it's you said it has potential to be anime of the year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
No. I'm with you on that sentiment, but it feels. I really like the beginning plots of the season. Avenging your mom's death on this capitalist system.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, like standing up to this bully in school. Trying to court this girl that you really like, but then all that's spiraling down into a victim story of missed motivations.
Yeah.
It's, I think, what makes it a potential anime of the year.
It's like how do I put it? Like it's like a misdirection of your motivation. Like you think your motivation and like all your energy needs to be one way, but really you're being manipulated to put it that way.
Absolutely.
My only gripe with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which like I talk about thoroughly during the episode, is like a lot of the relationships aren't as flushed out as I would want to be. Like, I wish I had so much more screen time with every single character in this. Like, literally every single character introduced, I wish I had more screen time with them. But that's a testament to, like, it's a good anime. Like I'm upset that I wasn't allowed more time with these characters. Which, like, again, like, that's just a testament that, like, I fell in love with these characters a little bit.
And the only good thing I can see about rushing, like, you know, flushing out your characters or character development is that director is trying to tell us, like, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is more to come.
Right.
But in something that is coming out of a video game franchise, we cannot give too much future to it.
Which, like, it was popular enough. I think the studio and CD Projekt Red have talked about, like, there is a possibility for subsequent adaptations like this. Because for sure, 2077 is, or the Cyberpunk gaming franchise as a whole, is getting another game within the next 2 years. And they did leave the door open to more adaptations that are similar to this. So that makes me feel good. That makes me feel really
yeah.
So the past 3 weeks, we've been watching films. You know what I mean? We've been watching anime movies because we are in preparation for our discussion of the 61 episodes of the Hunter x Hunter Chimera Ant arc. The first of those we watched, oh geez, this is already 3 weeks ago. It feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, a Hosoda film, and we didn't like it at the time, but then 1 week later we liked it more because of something we watched the week after that.
Yes.
Or 2 weeks after that.
2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. We talked about this on that episode. Satoshi Kon,
Hosoda.
Miyazaki,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Miyazaki and Shinkai. They're pillars of this anime industry. Sorry, excuse me. But none of their movies feel like a compilation of their other movies.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But unfortunately for Mr. Hosoda, here in The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, it graces probably 3 of his movies.
Yeah.
You know?
And then 2 weeks later we watched Belle 2021, which is another Mamoto Hosoda film, which is even worse. Like, it's more egregiously stealing from his other films.
Yeah.
Which includes The Girl Who Leapt Through
Time.
So
Again.
Then it's like we watched the Girl Who Leapt Through Time 2 out of 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's square.
Yeah, the Girl Who Leapt Through Time at the time, I feel like I didn't appreciate it because it's very spacious. Like I don't know what that, like, how to describe it. Like, the directing feels gives you a lot of breathing room. Like you brought it up already. The animation style's very dumbed down from what we've been talking about, especially compared to modern films. It has points of, like, really peak, like, crisp animation styles overlaid over some CGI. But for the most part, it's about, like, you know, like high school falling in love and discovering what it means to actually love another person, and, like, not trying to be not trying to Suzumiya yourself and, like, trap yourself in an endless summer, and, like, actually growing past that and learning that, like, hey, it's fine to have platonic friends, but at a certain point you can't be mad if they want something more than that, because that means they love you and that means they find value in who you are as a person, and that's not a bad thing. But, like, to run away from that and not address it directly, even if you don't want to be with them, is, like, not only immature, but it's selfish. Like, you are hurting both yourself and that other person.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not a take I had at the time, which was barely 3 weeks ago.
And it wasn't. It wasn't, because The Girl Who Leapt Through Time not only does serve you a false sense of risk, its solution to its problems is not even justifiable to how wrong you did by these people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me not letting you, Drew, confess your love to me is not being fixed by me fixing you up with another girl. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it feels like neither the protagonist nor this influential characters learned a lesson from it.
They do at the end. And I feel like I didn't realize that at the time. I was being super hard on it at the time because it felt super juvenile to me. I don't know who the fuck I think I am, that I'm so grown that I can't understand, like, this high school love story about, like, traveling through time just to rediscover how much you actually love somebody. But, like, that's what it's about. It's like, in every timeline they kind of do come back together, which isn't a bad thing. It's really cool. It's really sweet. I think it's really apt. Like, I think that's what's it called, that like star-crossed lovers writing theme. It doesn't feel as juvenile or all like beating you over the head with it here like it did in Belle 2021, because like,
well, we can even talk about Fruits Baskets.
yeah. Well, bring it up.
Well, no, I was just saying that because in Fruits Baskets we have this star formation of love interest or emotional
literal
interest.
constellations.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, literal constellations, but our protagonist in Fruits Baskets, Hina? No.
Oh God, I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name. But her being such a wonderful person, she justifies like her motivation between all these emotional characters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In here, our protagonist in A Girl Who Leapt Through Time, it's almost irresponsible.
Right. Absolutely. Because like she's also not taking other people's feelings into account, which is really mean. You know what I mean? Like she's only protecting herself to the point that she's jeopardizing like the entire timeline. Well,
Lives.
The way it's written, it's that like the timeline isn't under jeopardy, but you're right. Like it's the people around you. Like how is that butterfly effect affecting the people around you a little bit? Yeah, I think it's a lot better after watching Belle, to be honest. But then, between these two, between Belle 2021 and The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, 2 weeks ago we watched One Piece Film Red because both me, you, and CJ had seen it in theaters. We didn't realize that it was a musical, and it's essentially a J-pop theatrical release a little bit. Which isn't a bad thing. It's still One Piece. I think it was interesting hearing your perspective a little bit because it's also very fan servicey, where it's entirely non-canon, but it throws everybody's powers at you to the point that like there were powers in characters that like have barely had any time in the manga or the anime that we had no idea what they did or how they actually function.
Well, it wasn't completely not canon.
It's the only thing that is canon is that Yuta was part of Luffy's childhood.
Correct. And Shanks.
And Shanks. Well, that was always canon. Yeah. That was always canon. Yeah.
I liked that movie. You and CJ had gripes about Gear 5, which I couldn't tell because I didn't know any better, you know. But as far as the movie goes, as far as like, I'm not a theater nerd. I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and gaslight you and be like, you know what, The Miserables was the best fucking movie ever. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or what is it? Hamilton? No.
Yeah, Hamilton.
Yeah.
The
black and white with Denzel Washington. Shakespearean.
Hamlet.
Yes, like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like that shit like
got you.
It got me. You know what I'm saying? It is good. Musicals, to me, I'm not gonna sit here and gaslight you to tell you that I'm being elitist and how could you not like a musical and shit like that? But honestly, I didn't know it was a musical until like the third song.
Like the second it started, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like the second she started singing, and I saw that there was actual blocking, that they actually threw an animation budget on it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually happening! Like this is actually what it's about."
Yeah, I looked at Vinay while the third song was going. I was like, I did not know it was gonna go this way. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, the story for a person who is only finishing Skypiea, I like it, dude. I like it. I can't see no wrong in One Piece lore.
Not to be weird, but like because we share a Viz account, because I let you use my Viz password. I constantly, not constantly, when I'm reading other manga in the Viz app, I'll like kind of like check what chapter you're on, and it hasn't moved since right before One Piece Film Red, and I'm slightly disappointed. Like I know you're busy, I know it's not your fault. I know, like, I have no reason to have an expectation for that. But, like, I'm just like, oh, God, like, when is he going to get there? Like, when is he going to just, like...
It's weird, bro, because it's not. It's not that. It's not that my son or my girlfriend are taking all the time that I cannot get to it, but it's that time that I get to it around my girlfriend and my son that if I'm sitting here and I'm reading, it's like, oh shit, he's about to hurt himself, like he's doing something dangerous, or oh, he's doing something cute, I need to look at him, or Vanessa's like, oh, can you help me out with this, or can you help me out with that? I just rather not. It could be I have ADHD, dude.
Well, it's because I'm telling you, like you need like this perfect scenario to read manga when like. Especially if it's in a mobile format, it's just like whenever you have time. If you're in line at Walmart, if you're like a passenger in a car, like if you're just bored at work and like you really don't have any deliverables at the moment, you're just kind of reading, and that's kind of how like I've always treated manga. But like you need like no, like I need my coffee, I need my baby to be good, I need my girl to be good, I need to be in my favorite spot on my couch at home, which is like it's different, like it's fine, like however you want to experience manga is like your thing. But like I think that's why like I go through things so quickly, because it's just like, oh, I've got a free 10 minutes, like let me read real quick.
No, I need if I'm gonna do something, I need
full attention on
I need focus on it, dude. Honestly.
But see, like I'm so ADHD, like the opposite way. Like I'm just like, oh my god, like everything. I always need to be averting my focus somewhere. Like, oh my god, I'm bored. I can't be bored for 10 minutes. Like, let me just pull out my phone and like start reading.
Yeah. One Piece film, right? It's good.
It is good.
I don't see anybody being like, mid piece.
It's because like
shut up.
God, like, I saw like a TikTok clip from this like really mid-ass like anime podcast the other day on TikTok of somebody being like, oh, would you ever watch something with filler? Oh yeah, that's why I don't watch One Piece, blah 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 blah. Bro, like what, out of 1,050 episodes, like
15% or some shit like that,
less than 8% of One Piece episodes are actual filler. So then, like, bro, it's a dog shit opinion. Like, you don't know what you're saying. It's purposeful misinformation on the internet. And, like, you're saying in a way that because, like, you think it's semi-funny, that, like, it's an actual point, which it's not. And I don't know. And I feel like we've never been like that. Like, we don't just... That's why we don't speak off the cuff. That's why, like... if someone's like, oh, why are you watching? Why are you spending 5 weeks watching the Chimera Ant arc? You haven't seen it? Of course, I've fucking seen the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, but I want to be able to speak about it in a knowledgeable like way that I'm not just going to be speaking off of memory, because then I get like bad Bleach takes and bad Jujutsu Kaisen takes and stuff like that. Like I want to be knowledgeable on the topic. And, like, I feel like a lot of people don't get that. It's just like, oh, if I'm just a nerd and, like, I speak about anime, I like fondly and just kind of lightly shit on everybody else, and that's a good take. Like, no, like, we watch everything we talk about.
Yeah, and that's why we do it. That's why we watch it. That's why we have this show. That's why we like talking about different anime. Not only because it entertains us and has us talking about it for 4 hours straight. I feel like before we started the podcast, we were tired of like shitty takes on that.
Oh, absolutely. You know? But then like once like we realized that we wanted to have informed takes, like I don't know, our shitty takes got a lot less shitty. Like that's where we get like not talking down, but like our discussion on I know I haven't brought it up in a while, and I used to bring it up all the time. Our discussion on Cowboy Bebop, and how, and me and you thought it was like kind of mid, like not bad, like mid means middle of the pack, right? But like because it was marketed to us so readily and availably, like you're in the middle of the night, Adult Swim's on, you're getting the Toonami, you're getting these bumps with jazz and like cool like. The voice actor for the main guy in Cowboy Bebop, and like it's cool, it's smooth, it's chill. Like you remember those thoughts fondly, you know what I mean? But then you sit down and watch it in 2020 at the time. like you realize like it's apt, like, but it's kind of like entirely driven by its musical score, and that the actual plot isn't flushed out as like as thoroughly as we would want in like the 21st century, which isn't a bad thing. Like I just shit on Vampire Hunter D like an hour ago.
Yeah, but then you're surprised that things like Bleach and like a Trigun are getting a redemption, like reproduction.
Yeah.
That feels like, wouldn't you want to give that to Cowboy Bebop?
Absolutely. I think that's a very valid point. But because like nerds have like this stranglehold on the Cowboy Bebop franchise, be like, no, that's my childhood. You can't redo that at all.
And it's always like the most like average nerds that have that take.
Yeah. Anyways, last week, Belle, 2021, reminds us a lot of Girl Who Left Through Time. It's another Mamoru Hosoda film. It's good. Gorgeous. Like, literally, I said it last week, and I stand by that statement. It is the best animated Japanese anime production ever. Ever. Like, anything, like, even, like, Akira. Even... God, name just like any Miyazaki film. Even like it is gorgeous, absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. Like
weathering with your own steroids.
Yeah, like what people imagined anime would look like with like new technology and like everything we wished anime would look like. That's Belle, 2021. It's so amazingly, like I almost said breathtaking, but that's not even right. It's just perfect. Like it's literally the perfect animation style. But the story is pretty bad. The story is pretty bad.
Yeah, man. The story, like you said, you wish our writer Hosoda would have a friend and be like, yo, bro, hold on.
Yeah.
You already got Beauty and the Beast. You already got the girl
metaverse.
Who Left Through Time.
You got the metaverse.
You already got Summer Wars in there.
Yep.
Like, why are you putting in more stuff in there? Don't get me wrong. I like tragedy. I like the mom thing. She fucking died. Whatever. The kid's getting beaten up. It's tragic. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't tie the bow. It doesn't. And it just feels like, man, I can't compare it to Bubble.
Because Bubble's just pretty much bad every which way.
Yeah. Except for, again, like the animation. The animation's pretty solid.
But I don't think, like Bubble has bad CGI.
Yeah.
The only thing in Bubble that looks good is the one character model.
Everything else besides the CGI.
Right. Yeah.
Here in Belle, like the CGI under the 2D animation, it looks amazing. But then I don't know. It's just the Girl Who Leapt Through Time done more irresponsibly.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like that's what I mean. Like Belle was gorgeous, but like it made me appreciate the Girl Who Leapt Through Time more. I was like, oh, I'd rather have that story any time of the day.
Absolutely.
Like we could have just watched the Girl Who Leapt Through Time 2 weeks in a row.
That's like what, 2-3 plot lines maybe?
Yeah, two,
yeah.
like a solid 2, and they're both fleshed out really well.
Yeah. But that is episode 120.5 for you all. Season finale, season 4. We got a new logo. A new logo. We have new viewers, new subscribers, but same old anime dad is here. This is a big ass nerd down, so we're not even gonna have a nerd down. So don't wait for that nerd down music break. We did want to talk about Andor. I did watch Andor. I watched all the way to the 4th episode.
Okay.
You've been telling me that it is your favorite Star Wars content,
right,
so far,
right,
and your sentiment was that even after watching Rogue One is very heavy as far as overthrowing a fascist government. and you're saying that Andor is the building up to that.
Yeah.
In episode 3, I don't know if you remember.
Remind me.
I'll remind you. There is a sort of police state that our main protagonist killed 2 of its members in the first episode. Right? Mm-hmm. So, I really like this. That
was episode 2.
The one that he kills the 2 guys. That was episode 1.
That's episode. Oh, that is episode 1.
1.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You're right.
That's episode 1. And there is this seasoning in episode 3 where that police group or that security agency that
it's like a private security firm for the Empire.
Correct. In episode 3, there is this, I wouldn't call it montage because it happens way more slowly, but this private policing group is like, oh shit, we gotta take down this guy who killed 2 of our members. They're dangerous, blah blah blah. So it's like the propaganda that the fascists would want to give you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
like,
then
that's the argument. Like, why would you even fight against the fascists? Because they own the media. Because then they're gonna like flip it on you and be like, look at this rebel splinter cell group. Like they're a threat to the Empire and they're a threat to everyday imperial citizens.
But what I like the most about episode 3 is this like false taste of the fascist police force being like, we are closing in on him. We're going to where he resides,
right?
And we got all the corners covered, blah blah blah. And not only until they fucked around, they found out that the rebellion is nothing to fuck with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it felt so good.
Well, honestly, that's why
so good.
That's why Andor's important, because as far as the Empire is concerned, they didn't even realize that the resistance was that the rebellion was an actual thing. Yeah. They thought it was multiple splinter cell groups. They didn't realize the rebellion was an actual rebellion.
Because there's even this high-ranking official, a female, who they disregard, who's like, I'm seeing patterns. I'm seeing strategy patterns, like here and here and here. They use the same strategies to get information, and they're like, you're a stupid bitch. Go over there.
Go do paperwork.
Go do paperwork. and that happened after the fact of what I'm talking with the police force, because the police force is so confident on like ransacking this rebellion group that they get fucked over, and it just it felt so good. It felt so good, and I now know why you like the show, and that's all I.
The joke about Andor, which is like, if you didn't know any better, you'd think you were shitting on it. But like, it's actually like a really like apt testament to like how good the acting and the writing is that like Andor is a glorified political drama for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of like highbrow talking too. Mm-hmm. It's just like, and especially the scenes you're talking about with like these with the
private police force,
right? With these private police force professionals, where it's just kind of like talking above board. You know what I mean? What happened at Sector 98? Oh, at Sector 98, we discovered a rebel splinter cell group, and we are interpreting the data. Like they're covering their tracks. It's like watching late stage Game of Thrones or like House of the Dragon or something. Like, it's a political game. Like, I am telling you I need help, but I'm also not trying to alert you to the point that you think I'm not doing my job properly. Mm-hmm. So it's really like watching. Did you ever watch House of Cards?
Yes.
It's like watching season 1 of House of Cards. Like, do you remember like Kevin Spacey talking above board when talking about the leader of the House, when talking about the President of the United States, when talking about the fucking Secretary General of the military? Like, it's so smart and big, and like, it's not unless you're like talking with somebody else or like you're like on the internet being like, what the fuck were these bitches just talking about? That like you actually start interpreting like, oh my god, they said they're gonna send the Empire to Andor's home planet or whatever. Like, it's a huge deal until, like, it's not a huge deal until you start breaking it down, which is fun. because like it lets you believe that you're a part of a community, which is what Star Wars always kind of wanted to be. You know what I mean? Because like I'm thinking about the latest trilogy, the sequels. It never felt like a homebody discourse like a lot of other like popular fiction groups feel like, because it was always kind of just like this other group of old heads being like, nah, fuck that, like this isn't a New Hope, why isn't this a New Hope, like stop trying to be a New Hope. And then it's like this other group that's like 15 years younger being like, but why isn't this about young Anakin? What about Darth Vader? Blah, 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 blah. Stop trying to make a new Darth Vader. And then it's just this new group of people that just, like, enjoy this fantasy franchise and just want to enjoy it as is. And, like, Andor really kind of, like, appeases all of those groups. It's just, like, if, like, you could blank slate, like, I showed it to Karen, being like, blank slate, like, all she's seen is, like, Rogue One and Mandalorian. Right? And like Mandalorian's cool and marketable because it's like it's kind of cute because of Grogu, but like Andor is what we always hoped like a Star Wars franchise would be like. Like if I'm playing Mass Effect, right? Like it's not about like the covered gameplay in a third person shooter. It's about like the political aspect of like trying to select the right dialogue options, being like, oh, how do I get this one species on my side against the collectors? Like, how am I gonna do, like, how do I convince the Empire? I don't know if it's in the first 4 episodes, but Cassian Andor has a quote that's kind of like, how did you steal this piece of technology? It's because they're so powerful, they don't believe that anybody can like go against them. And that's what it was so obvious when he said it. Like I couldn't believe that I'd never had that interpretation.
Like, what do you mean why I got it? Because
they
thought that we couldn't get it.
They're so rich and so powerful. They thought like nobody could ever go against them. And like he says that in the episode, and it was like mind blown. Like it's the most obvious thing. Yeah, the most obvious plot. I'm like, duh. Like literally, like the Emperor is literally a Sith Lord and has the power of magical space juju.
And it's almost like a Robin Hood kind of thing.
That's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. From beginning to end, that's what Andor is. It's a Robin Hood space story.
Okay, cool.
But with politics.
Okay.
So, like you're right. Like, again, like, I don't know how you always get these interpretations correct. Like, especially when it comes to our One Piece discussions. But, like, you're right. That's literally exactly what it is. Yeah. And like, that's why it's so apt to talk about. And I'm, like, I'm excited you're watching it. Because that means you're almost halfway through, because it's only 10 episodes, or is it 12? It might be 12. It might be 12. So you're about a third of the way through. And it's almost cut into blocks like an anime core. Because, like, the first 4 episodes are one plot line, and then there's another plot line that's 5 through 8, and then there's another plot line that's like 9 through 12.
Because what left me in a cliffhanger was like, dude, the only reason the line was the line was like, why risk your life for minuscule things? Or why risk your freedom for things that are not gonna make a change, when you can risk your life for a moment and make the absolute fucking difference. And I was like, oh,
which is true, because we already know how like Andor's plotline ends, because we've seen Rogue One.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happens. Like he spends all this time with the rebel group, with fighting against the Empire, just for him to die to the Death Star. Like that's literally what it's about. And it's God,
it's good. It's good. I'm glad I'm watching it. I'm catching up as much as I can.
I'm trying to finish the Rings of Power. I'm on like episode 6 or so, which means I'm like more than halfway through. Nothing's happened.
Nothing's happened yet? I think I left off on episode 4.
Oh my god. And like it makes so much sense, because like some of the actors that were in the original Lord of the Rings, like 3 episode like franchise, the film series, like the
trilogy.
The trilogy, yeah. They've been complaining a lot about the Rings of Power, because I think one of the direct quotes is that it's literally a cash grab and that it's not about anything. And I'm like, yeah. Like I the past like 3 episodes, I'm just like, begging for something to happen. Absolutely. It's what I was telling you when we had our discussion about in one of the nerd downs about like how the first 2 episodes are and like nothing really happens, but it's like introducing you to the world. The whole season, from what I've seen so far, is just introducing you to the world. It's just for nerds of Tolkien's literature, being like, oh, that's that city, oh, that's that city, oh, that's that race, oh, that's that character, but like nothing's actually happening. It's just fan service because it's kind of like just showing you things that you've never actually seen in live action.
And then they hook you with it's through the perspective of elves, so shit's happening quickly, but then it doesn't.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So, I don't know. It just feels like...
I wonder how much money Amazon lost. It's the most expensive show ever. And people have only been shitting on it since like week 4 of it coming out. And it ended like 5 weeks ago.
Well, last thing I heard about Amazon is that they got too much product to move.
What?
Yeah, like they have warehouses full of product that people are
like physical product.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I think that's the nature of the economy right now because I've heard that about both Walmart and Target. Like Target has had to flip their entire stock.
But we were talking about this even before before even the inflation. Like we no longer trust Amazon in 2020 like we trusted Amazon in 2018. Like, products now are super iffy.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go through 50 different of the same product to be like, you know what, this one's the one that looks like, or this seller is the one that is actually selling the actual good product.
Me and you worried about that for these $35 like set lights. Exactly. Yeah. And like I've been going through a lot of product reviews when it comes to I want to put an LED strip in the background, but I also don't know if I'm renting the house that we're recording right now. I don't know if we're going to be moving out of here, so I'm also worried about like I don't want to put more stuff in this room just to take it down in a month. And like I've been going through like a lot of reviews and like going through like web pages like top 5 LED strips you should be buying, blah 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 blah. But like, what's fake, what's real at this point? I don't even know.
Exactly, like, and Amazon has faded that line like
it's
for the
weird.
past 5 years.
It's weird that they allow like fake reviews just like everywhere.
It's wild. It's wild.
Okay, Mr. Mendez. After our last recording of Belle, we had some time and we were waiting.
Some leisure, if you will.
Some leisure time. We were waiting on our Uber Eats and all this, and I forced you to watch the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, the most popular show in the entirety of 2022. How do you feel about that?
But you didn't force me.
No, I didn't
feel
force you.
forced.
No.
You complimented my focus on it.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's because you ask good questions, bro. That's why I think it's crazy that like don't take this the wrong way, but like I'll ask you about concepts like I feel like I learned in high school, and you like don't remember things like punctuation placement, physics 1 questions and stuff like that. And I've never thought you were a dumb guy. Like I think you're plenty bright. But like I feel like you weren't very. I didn't know you in high school, but like from what I know of you now, it felt like you weren't focused, and like I don't. It's weird to me that you don't remember the things that I feel like I remember from high school, because you ask good questions. You're focused when you want to be. You ask good questions. You understand like English, like literary concepts really well. You know what I mean? You understand like flow of storylines. You understand like what writers are trying to get across. But then like I bring up something that seems obvious to me, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know.
No, and I get it, bro. I get it. You also have to understand that as a person who moved here from Juarez, you know, and stuff like that.
I've thought that before too, so that's why. Yeah.
And not only that, but like me getting to know myself up to this point here, talking to you. You know, like, do I regret not paying more attention in high school? Yes. Do I regret not taking like some of the opportunities that high school gave me? Yeah, of course. But I wasn't smart enough back then.
Like socially smart, like socially mature, kind of.
Yeah, or even just like self-analytical. You know, I was more concerned about what was going around me than inside of me. You know, but like
Your friends, the social aspect, all that, and to your credit, all the time, I do say like public education in El Paso is absolute dog shit. And
I don't even blame it on that, because you have talked shit about people that you know what I'm saying, like, how could you be failing your high school classes? I was never that kid. Like, I always did, you know, like,
just enough to pass.
Yeah, not just enough to pass, but like I wouldn't get like a 70. Like I wouldn't get like the bare minimum. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yes, I wish even when you when you comment me about my punctuation and stuff like that, like I should have had a grasp even when I was in Juarez, you know what I'm saying, about that. But like my mind didn't just grasp it. And then by the time I was learning English, because even though you might disagree, but I have like a fixation with how I speak English.
I've heard you say that, and like I've tried to renege on, not just because you're my friend and like I care about your feelings and shit, but like just because like I think you're way too hard on yourself. I don't know who was like picking on you at the time.
Everybody was.
I've never felt that sentiment, like coming from the side of, and as somebody that only speaks English, like I've never felt like you. I know people that are country as fuck, and you speak better English than they do, and they only speak one language. You know what I mean? And like, so I've never faulted you for anything like that.
Yeah. So like, it's funny because when I was in high school, I remember not wanting to text my friends that texted in fucking text lingo. Mm-hmm. Or that misspelled words like there.
Early 2000 text lingo was also terrible. Huh? Early 2000 text lingo was also terrible.
No, I know what you're talking about, but like, I'm not gonna say any names, but a friend specifically, like, I couldn't talk to him because I couldn't get what he was saying. It's like, dude, you have autocorrect in your phone, you have punctuation markers on your phone. It's like, use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, he would just be like, why don't you axe AXE?
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? And I would just feel dumbfounded. With you, sometimes I feel like I'm that friend. You know?
I've never purposely made you feel like that.
No. And I'm not saying that you have made me feel bad, but I feel that you're feeling the same frustration that I felt.
Oh, like when I try to interpret Spanish.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're like belittling me.
Dude, my Spanish is terrible.
You know what I'm saying? No. And you know what? I was just talking to you about when I was watching the Japan game. Yeah. I was talking to these two guys from Boston.
Right. Okay.
And they asked me, it's like, why are you so hard on yourself when you say yob or say fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or stuff like that. It's because, dude, I'm battling my Spanish brain and my English brain all the time.
Yeah, I get that.
It sucks. And I have a what do you call it? I have an appreciation for being intellectual. You know this. You know, like, even though I'm not a authority on a single subject, like, I know enough about a lot of different subjects that it's gonna make me assimilate that I'm smart, right. You know? But like, yeah, I never thought I was dumb because of you. But I do feel like I could do better. And that's you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm glad we have conversations like this, especially off the cuff. Like, even though, like, normally we're talking about some bullshit anime, but like, you know what I mean? I feel like I learned something. It's just like an open discussion over like a public space where, like, I'm sure there are other people that feel exactly like you do, and like that are uncomfortable, because you're not the first person I've ever met that was uncomfortable. I've known people my entire life that like how do I always put it? I always put it like I was the fuck up of the smart kids, right? Like when I was in high school, and like in high school that doesn't mean anything because like the smart kids in high school are like very average for what a business sector should be. But to the point that when I transferred to Texas Tech, I felt stupid. I felt super stupid. I felt like the dumbest person like in that entire school, like in every class I was in. But after getting certain forms of accolades and like after having, I have tangible forms of education at this point, which don't mean anything. There's plenty of people without degrees that are way smarter than me. But like after especially getting my master's, people I've known my entire life, they feel like they have to almost try to impress me with their language. And like they have to like use terms that they're not comfortable using, try to over-explain things that they're not comfortable over-explaining. I'm just like, dude,
they step on their own dicks.
I've been the same person like you've known your whole life. Like I was always I purposely like put down myself to try to be funny and make people more comfortable sometimes. And like I've always been that person. You know what I mean? Like you have no reason to ever feel like I'm trying to like one up on you or something like that. You know what I mean? And like it makes me feel bad amongst my friends, even though like they're passively doing it. I'm not even sure they realize they're doing it. I'm just like, dude, like you've known me for like 12, 15 years at this point. Like who the fuck are you trying to like impress right now?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm the same idiot like you've always known your entire life. Like for what? Like we're in the same places in our lives. Like people work at different paces. People have different strengths, different weaknesses. The only thing that irritates me about my friends and stuff like that is like if I see your potential and I feel like you're not living up to it, that's the only thing that makes me mad.
I know that angers you about me.
I just feel like you get comfortable sometimes.
No, I do.
It's not that you're not living up to your potential. It's just like I see potential in like your priorities are elsewhere. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing either. It just means that like your interests are varied and we're all different people. You know what I mean? And God, I was trying to talk about fucking House of the Dragon. I don't know how we went down this rabbit hole. But like it's different. People have different levels of interpretation, and I hope any of my friends that like I'm not trying to be passive aggressive. Passive aggressive sounds like I'm being mean to somebody like willingly, and I love you to death, and like I hope you live to what like my mental image of you is.
Correct.
But House of the Dragon, I made you watch episodes 1 and 2. It's a political fantasy drama. It is the most popular show in the entirety of 2022.
Oh, yeah. That's how we got into that conversation.
Because of the political drama aspect?
Yeah.
It is probably going to have the most... you corrected me last week on this. I almost said Oscar again. It is going to probably have the most Emmy nominations of any work in 2022. How do you feel about it after watching the first 2 episodes?
Well, shit, dude. Like, I watched the first season of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I liked it. And I feel
I
like...
hated the first season of Game of Thrones, first time I watched it.
And I felt like when I watched it the first time, I watched it like I was watching Breaking Bad. I watched it like if I was watching The Wire. I watched it like if I was watching, The Sopranos. You have a main character, and that's your main character.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, it's
like
not that.
Traditional writing.
Yeah, exactly. So when I watched the first season of Game of Thrones, I watched it probably...
Who's gonna die?
No, I watched... what I was gonna say, I watched it when they were in their 3rd season, I think. Or 4th
okay.
season.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So I started watching it while that was happening.
I started watching it when season 2 had just started. So, like, nobody really knew how big it was going to be at the time.
So when I watched it, and I see Lord
Stark,
and die and stuff like that, I was like, how could
that doesn't happen?
Yeah, they kill them.
No. I'm saying like in your head, you're like, oh, they just killed their main character.
Correct.
That doesn't happen.
Correct. So in my head, because of what I was, fucking. What I'm used to watching,
right. It's playing on your expectations.
Yeah. So I'm like, how good could the other seasons be? And I did hear the hype behind it, but see, like the word hype at that time was very new.
That was like 2013.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even now, like I've rewatched the first season of Game of Thrones with Vianney.
Mm-hmm.
Vianney, it's very hard for her to get into the medieval fantasy aspect of it.
She hurt my feelings. Well, hurting my feelings is like the wrong word, but like she had a meme that she put on her story that was like somebody making like an ugly face, and it's like when somebody tells me to watch Game of Thrones, and like
I would rather put a cigarette in my eye. Or
yeah. Which like I'd heard her say that before, so I wasn't surprised, but at the same time I was just like, oh, that's me.
See, but then now, like even when we talked about Berserk, like in our first season of Between Nerds, like now I'm intrigued, but then I also like to spend a lot of quality time with my girlfriend, and we share a lot of quality time.
I would hope so.
You know what I'm saying? So if like we compromise of what we want to watch.
Yeah.
I got you. Want to watch this? No. Do you want to watch this? No. Do you want to watch this? Kinda. I kind of do too.
To Karen's point, like she lets me strong arm what we watch a lot of the time. But then she gets certain days where she's like, "No, I'm tired of watching your stupid stuff."
New Girl.
No, we're not only New Girl, but like those stupid like Netflix like shows like
Dead to Me,
Blind Love, and like Love Island. You know those like
I get
those things that would have been popular in like VH1 like 15 years ago.
See, and the way I deal with that is that I don't watch it with her. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So
okay.
So she'll watch something, and then I'm like, "Oh, what are you watching?" "Oh, I'm on the 5th episode of so and so show." I'm like, "Cool," because I do not want to watch this.
Right. I'm hanging out with baby over here. You do you.
Yeah.
Me and baby over here.
Yeah. And so, like, the reason I'm not like catching myself with this stuff, I don't know. I'm not trying to call you mean or anything.
Oh no! What did I do?
But like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm watching this now.
Yeah.
You know, except for anime, which is what our whole fucking show is consists of. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not trying to watch something that it's gonna make her day.
Like a waste of her time. It is her free time.
Yeah, it is her free time as well.
That's valuable.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as far as Game of Thrones, in a different dimension, where I don't know, where I have the time to watch it. Like I'm sure I'm watching it.
Right.
You know, but right now I just can't make her watch it. I don't know. It just feels weird.
Karen's like that a lot. Karen actively refuses to watch anything Lord of the Rings for a lot of the same reasons. She's like, I don't like that high fantasy. Well, she doesn't say that. I don't like that fantasy elf nonsense bullshit. Like blah 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 blah. Which I get. You know what I mean? Like it's girls especially have like this really weird preconceived notion about like some kind of fantasy stuff. But like. That's why, like, when within maybe me and Karen's first year and a half of dating, that's when I first started introducing her to this kind of stuff, and that's when, at around the same time, like, Disney Plus started doing a lot of the originals for, like, franchises I like. So, like, Mandalorian Season 1 came out, right? And I was like, hey, I like Star Wars, babe. Like, you don't like anything Star Wars.
See, and I thought the same. I thought that was gonna be a good stepping stone for Vinay as well.
That like Karen like blew up on like Mandalorian. Like, if anything, it was so popular in Karen's head maybe I'm speaking too much on her behalf, but like she loved it so. Yeah. Come give us your context real quick. But like, if anything, like she liked it so much. Now anything Star Wars that doesn't have like Grogu and the Mando, she's kind of like, yeah. She's like, boo, this is ass. Like, but she still watches everything with me. She watched all of Boba. She watched all of Andor with me, all that stuff. But like, it was a really easy stepping stone after I made her watch Rogue One, because Rogue One, you know, there's no bad actor in the bunch.
See,
like
and Danae likes Rogue One.
Then I don't get how she doesn't like Mando and Andor and stuff like that.
It's kind of the what is it called, the separation anxiety that most nerds have with like a lot of their anime.
Right. That this isn't exactly Rogue One. I can't watch this.
Exactly. So I didn't have a hard time watching The Mandalorian because she was like, oh girl, look at him, you know.
It's because like Mandalorian season 1 especially is really good at fan service, because it's kind of like the first time Grogu uses the Force to move that rhino monster thing, I was like geeky next to Karen, and she doesn't understand the significance. She's like, they're space wizards. What does that matter? I was like, oh my god, you don't understand. This is a different space wizard.
No, and the risk behind it. He's not a trained Force user.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
You know what I'm saying? He could like bust your brain like anyway.
I was bugging about it. I was absolutely bugging. And like something Karen's kind of gotten used to do that I do passively is that like if we're watching an anime from a manga I've already read or something like that. This happens with Chainsaw Man recently. Like if it's a scene I know, I was like just like out of sheer like excitement. I'm just like, oh my god, it's this scene. Attention. Like, oh my god, not even me trying to tell her like pay attention. It's just like me like trying to contain myself. Like, oh my god, it's this scene. I can't believe we're here already. And that happened the most recent episode of Chainsaw Man. Like, Makima gets fucking shot in the head in a train, and like I knew the scene the second like I saw her on the train. I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. And like she didn't even understand what I was geeking about. She was like, this is a really mundane scene. This is kind of boring, if anything. And then like Makima gets shot in the brain, and I'm just like, oh my god. And we still haven't talked about the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon. Okay, so they're gory. They're HBO focused, like fantasy. So you saw a really terrible C-section in episode 1. And then that is juxtaposed to people dying over the games of a lancing
and the hierarchy of what it is to just like ranking of kings. You know, like the who is your predecessor kind of thing.
Right.
But that's not that what you just said. That's not what I liked about the first 2 episodes.
So you did like the first 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in the middle of episode 2.
Okay.
Remind
me of the scene.
No. Well, around the middle of episode 2, you had said something to me, and then I can't remember what it was, but it was between the C-section.
That's episode 1.
Oh, episode 1, and it was about the conversation with the daughter, which is I think it's episode 2.
Which conversation?
The conversation he has with the already grown daughter.
Oh, when
the baby? No, I'm sorry. In the first episode,
okay,
the sitting king on the Iron Throne.
Okay,
it is he is forced to make a decision.
Right.
He loves his wife.
Yes.
He's having a kid, but they don't know if it's a male or a female. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So at this point, we know that the queen has had miscarriages.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Which
it's a common thing. It happens.
Which fragments the
line of succession.
The line of succession.
Okay,
right.
I got you.
So when the king in the first episode was like, "Oh, I am sure about this pregnancy. My wife is gonna make it."
He told the whole small console it was for sure a son.
Yeah, and then there was console with the surrounding families. Because they were like, yo, dog, like your wife has already had like a couple of miscarriages. We should probably think of of
The succession.
Of the succession being somebody outside of your family.
Right.
He's like, no. It's gonna be a strong boy, healthy boy.
Right.
Blah blah blah. And he already has a daughter, right?
Yes.
Yes. So he is pushed to make this awful decision of like, dude, we can either save one of them or none of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Without his wife in the room, he decides to save the baby.
It was in the room with her, but
she's unconscious.
Yeah, she's basically she's
in
essentially
pain,
unconscious.
Yeah,
well,
agonizing pain.
Something that they don't bring up as much in House of the Dragon that's brought up all the fucking time in Game of Thrones is that the main drug they use is the milk of the poppy, like poppy seeds, like
opium,
heroin, like opium, So she was just like drunk off milk of the poppy, and like the headmaester was like, "Yo, your wife's totally about to die. Like, we can let both of them die." And like, it's that scene is flushed out in a scene in episode 2, which isn't explicit. Is that
are you talking about the baby now?
A little bit about. I'm referencing it to the scene in episode 2, the end of episode 2, where King Viserys is telling his daughter, Princess Rhaenyra.
Can I reel it back?
Go for it.
So when he makes that decision of having that C-section, which is a mortal procedure back then,
right?
As he's holding on to his wife's hand, and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay."
Viserys, why?
It's okay. He's like, wait. What are you doing? In terror, because she knows she's gonna die. What are you doing? It's okay. It's gonna be okay. When the incision is first made, and this is amazing acting and direction, because his face from the incision, he's like, I fucked up. I let the love of my life, a woman, die over my... He doesn't even care about his kid. He doesn't even know the sex of the kid yet. You know what I'm saying? And I told you this, and that's what you were complimenting me on, that I was like, he's gonna make his daughter the successor to the throne.
Yeah.
And it's really good acting, because he knew, and you could see it when she's dying. He fucked up. He wishes that first incision wasn't made.
Yeah.
And then his baby's born. A male, good weight baby is born,
and then he dies a day later,
and he chokes.
Yeah.
On his placenta, on his sac fluid.
Well, let me
It's
explain
wild.
that scene for you, for a scene that happens in episode 2 that aren't directly related. One of the last scenes in episode 2 is after the death of Queen Alicent, I think is her name, and Viserys brings Rhaenyra into a room that has the skull of Balerion the Black Dread, which was the biggest dragon to ever be in Westeros. And like, there's a bunch of candles around. He has a knife. He has a Valyrian steel dagger that when he heats it up, it shows like it shows the Song of Ice and Fire. It shows a dream, a message, what's it called when you have like a
epiphany?
Not
vision.
Yeah, like the vision that the conqueror of Westeros, the Targaryen conqueror of Westeros, had at the time, and it was that there was an evil coming from the north, which like, you're supposed to kind of know this from Game of Thrones, but like, it's fine if you don't. Kind of is that like, he had a dream that this evil from the north was going to come down and destroy the kingdom of Westeros, and the only thing that would stop it was a direct descendant of Aegon the Conqueror.
Okay.
So in Game of Thrones, that's basically how the end of Game of Thrones happens, is that ice zombies come out, and then Jon Snow, who's actually a secret Targaryen, kind of third-handedly defeats the White Walkers and saves Westeros from ice zombies, right? So you're supposed to know that in that scene, which is why I don't fault you for not knowing it. In this scene in episode 2, relates it to that C-section in episode 1, because if he knows the Song of Ice and Fire is supposed to be a direct male descendant of Aegon the Conqueror, a Targaryen is going to stop the White Walkers. He thought it was going to be his son because he knew it had to be a male Targaryen. So he's just like, if it's a boy, no matter fucking what, we're saving his life. Fuck my wife, fuck this, we're saving a continent worth of people. So that's why no matter what, he was right away being like, no, we're doing the C-section, we're saving the boy, it doesn't matter. And that's why after his son died, that's when he told Princess Rhaenyra the whole story of A Song of Ice and Fire. He was like, dude, you're probably the last kid I'm ever gonna have, and so it has to be you. There's no way it's not you. And this is A Song of Ice and Fire. Save the world from ice zombies. Use dragons.
I guess I don't know. I guess it's just the nerd in me or the over analytical piece. But I just feel like when she first had the C-section incision on her belly, to me, what I was looking at as a viewer, it just felt that that's when he knew he fucked up.
He did and he didn't. My interpretation has always been he thought of it as a necessary evil because the Maester told him that no matter what, she was going to die, right? So it's do you save one or do you save do you save none or do you save one? You'd go for the one, obviously, right?
Yeah, but then again, that was because of his knowledge of the prophecy and the Song of Ice and Fire.
Right.
But once it gets to an individual's feelings, I think I saw him see the love of his life.
Oh no, you're exactly right. No, that's literally the exact interpretation you're supposed to have, because the rest of the season is about the fallout from his second marriage for somebody he didn't really love.
Why are you willing to lose?
Yeah, because Alicent was his only real love, which they were also kind of related to, which is also, it's just a Game of Thrones thing, I don't know. But from there on out, even his next wife, she's internally jealous of this dead queen, because even in his sickly state he's in later episodes, he accidentally calls her by his dead wife's name and stuff like that. So that's a really prevalent thing. I think it said in the book, if I remember correctly, the World of Ice and Fire novel, it's not a novel, but the World of Ice and Fire book, that with Queen Alicent, part of Viserys died because that was his only one true love. But then the next few episodes, we watched the first 10 minutes of episode 3, and that's what episode 3 is about. It's the fallout of the political implications of just being a king. It's being dude, you have to remarry. There's no way around it. Your marriage is worth so much politically. If there's a rebel...
Yeah, he marries a young-ass kid, right?
He marries Princess Rhaenyra's best friend, who is the daughter of the Hand of the King, who is the second son of one of the most powerful houses in Westeros. And the house that they're from, I almost said the Tarleys, but that's a Game of Thrones family. Anyways, the family they're from, the city they're from is called Old Town. They have the only university / college in Westeros, and the biggest college in the continent. So that would be marrying the daughter of the Roman emperor or something. You know what I mean? Dude, they have all the knowledge, they have the church behind them. You can't not bring them into their Targaryen family.
Yeah, they have military.
Yeah. Imagine the 15th century Catholic Church. What are you going to do? Not appease the 15th century Catholic Church? That doesn't make sense. So that's essentially why he did that at the end of episode 2. And that's why episode 3 is kind of the fallout of those implications a little bit. So I'm glad you watched it. Keep watching, or maybe I'll force you to watch it at other points in time. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it, but fuck.
The next episode, we are going to have Vianney Sosa right here in the middle, to talk about the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter. And
great start for season 5.
Great start. It's probably the best start we could have hoped for, to be honest. Especially having it be V, that's great. Every V episode we've ever done is probably an 11 out of 10.
Flushed out, great.
I don't think I've promoted yet this episode. If you guys, I replied to a comment that our November giveaway winner had commented on a previous episode.
Cool,
he
cool.
never reached out to us.
Boo.
So you know who you are. He's commented on. We've had an active conversation with him in episodes last month about Maiden Abyss, and he commented in our Nerd Down about Cyberpunk Edge Runners because we were also talking about Maiden Abyss. Email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com if you want to claim your giveaway winnings. Like Aldo said last episode, we're totally not going to dox you, I promise. And for anybody else, if you want to enter our December giveaway, if you're a subscriber on YouTube and you comment on a video during the month of December, then you will be entered into our December giveaway, and we will randomly pick a winner, and we'll get you some handpicked nerd stuff. Or you can leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, or leave a positive review on Spotify or Pandora, what have you. And if you email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com letting us know that positive review is you, then we will also enter you into our monthly giveaway.
And just subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Comment, whether it's good or bad.
We're sluts for subscriptions.
And you know what? Like I feel like I know anime nerds. You know what I'm saying? Anime nerds have this like introvert kind of sense to themselves sometimes.
Oh, yeah, man.
You know, and we are encouraging you specifically to talk to us, because I know you are the ones who are passionate about these titles.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Like that's what me and Aldo get across. As long as you're not a fucking dickhead, like we're totally open to being corrected. Like we said that several points throughout the episode.
Yeah,
like,
give us suggestions, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially if you've heard us talk about positively about something else, and you're like, "Oh, that totally reminds me of X and X anime," and you guys haven't watched it yet. Please watch it. And it was like, we'd probably put it 2-3 weeks from now, if anything. Like, we take suggestions. We weigh our suggestions thoroughly. Yes. So, like, yeah, we're more likely than not to watch something that's directly suggested to us.
So please, if you have the chance, catch up to Chimera Ant arc for Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that in the next 8 to 9 days.
Yeah.
You know, that is it for season 4 of Between Nerds. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the countries listening to us on Spotify, on any platform. Thank you very much. We got a new logo. Thank you to our friend
Hector Gabriel.
Hector Gabriel. He made our stickers that you see here.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know, thank you guys. We haven't hit a moment that we're like, should we keep doing this? You know what I'm saying? Which is really good. We only see growth, or sometimes we flatline, you know, for a month or so. But
people get busy. People got stuff going on.
You know, but we have a 30 week season, so we have a lot of feedback to go through. But we love the feedback that we're getting.
Absolutely. That's Aldo Mendez. My name is Drew Philip Elias. This has been Between Nerds.